Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of It's Your Birthday, the only podcast that gets you a gift every single week, and this week is no different, and that gift, as always, is going to be video games. There's been a few that came out this week, and a few that didn't come out this week. Joined as always by my host, Christian Langton. Christian, how you doing, buddy boy?
Good, man. I'm concerned about the games that didn't come out. What happened to those?
I don't know. There wasn't any that I can think of offhand. I just sort of started speaking and ended there. So,
well, I guess
I'm sure there was some that didn't that were supposed to. Actually, I think if we think about it, wasn't Cyberpunk already supposed to come out initially by now? So we'll count that as one.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs Legion, yeah, that was another one. That's what, a week
those
away.
Those were the two
10
big
days,
ones
8 days
that I remember them delaying. I think they pushed back. There's been quite a bit that's been pushed back, like pretty consistently. It's been a good year for that to happen, I guess, because at least you have an excuse to fall on.
Given the circumstance, I feel like it's somewhat fair that that's been this year. But yeah, you're right. We have had quite a few things get pushed back and forward.
Yeah. Well, I think the ending of the year is going to be very interesting. I think
it's going to be a mad dash for wallets here coming up soon. Because if I remember right, it's iPhone 12, Xbox, and PS5 all a week apart, if I remember right. So that's a pretty big one. You had the Quest 2 that just happened. That's another relatively big one. You had the NVIDIA launch, and they're probably going to restock somewhat soonish. So there's that.
We didn't talk about it, but they delayed the release of the 3070 so they could like beef up the security around their store and like bots and stuff. Like, I don't know if we talked about that at all.
No, but I mean, makes sense because they might as well do it. More stock available. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's fair because their 3080 launch was pretty abysmal. Actually, I think the day I went to get my Quest, I went in at 10:30, and they said they had 5 that were already gone within the first 10 minutes. 3080s or whatever.
Or the 3080. Okay.
Yeah. No, the Quest is in stock everywhere. No problem at all. There was no need to pre-order or do anything with it. They've had a plethora of that. Although I will say all the accessories are gone almost everywhere. It seems like.
That's what I get for not running an ad block. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my God, dude. Well, good on Best Buy for getting their money no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a buddy at work that's been trying to snipe a 3080 since the release, and I think yesterday was the closest he ever got. Like, he actually got to a confirmation page for like, do you want to purchase this? And he's like, yes, I want to purchase this. And then it gets to the next page, and it's like, error processing your request. Refreshes his cart. Out of stock. And
that
he's
happened.
Like, dude,
that happened quite a bit to people, I think. And then P&Y got in a lot of trouble. Not a lot of trouble, but they got in trouble because they had oversold the orders, and then they were just like canceling people's orders without any like, basically saying like, yeah, it's confirmed. Here you go. And then like, a week later being like, actually, by the way, motherfucker, you're not getting one, and here's your money back. It's with some substantial delay as well, because they're like, well, we have to go through the banks to give it back to you, and it's like, cool, man, thank you.
Well, there's also
and then
this.
that too, yeah.
Like,
that was another fun one.
The fuck are they thinking? That's like catchable. That's
well, again, it has to be very stated that it isn't MSI specifically. It's like a company they own that is doing their own business.
Yeah, but still a little.
Oh no, I mean, it's not that it's not suspect, but I can totally see like, another company head by someone completely not in discussion with anyone else doing some shit like this. I mean, like I said, that ad I just pulled up of that guy selling one for $1,700, which is fucking absolutely bananas. That's already $300 over a 3090, which is already double the price of a 3080.
I don't know. And he also, what was the price that he had for that Switch Lite that you can easily go get
it was
at the store?
$275, yeah. And actually, To be honest with you, too, when I looked at the images, it doesn't show the Switch at all. It just shows the box. So I don't know if that means, just another questionable selling choice, it looks like,
I mean, it's one of those things like you find on eBay occasionally where it's like, oh, here's the box for like $150, and people buy them, and then they're like, oh wait, it said box at the very end of this like very long like tagline of the title.
Right, and then and then there's nothing you can do about it, and eBay's like, I don't know, it's cool. We let anybody sell anything, really. And then because we get 40% of it, all because we suck ass and eBay's garbage.
Dude, so have you watched the 40-Year-Old Virgin recently? Because I watched it not too long ago.
No, it's been, God, probably maybe when it came out, and then maybe a year after.
Do you remember what his girlfriend's job was?
Like, she had an eBay store. So like, which
concept of that these days?
Yeah, I mean, wild. The thing is it's still not necessarily the worst. I mean, it's well, what are you gonna do? No one's eBay, no one's Amazon, so there's no hope for anyone else. But, yeah, it is. That was a hilarious thing. What was like the premise though? Like she would buy stuff, or they would just put it in her store, and then she would sell it on eBay or in the store. Like I'm not sure how does that business model work?
I think that's how it works. Like, because if you have a listing for something and nobody buys it, but you have it on a shelf somewhere and somebody buys it, you just take the listing down, I imagine. I am not the expert in eBay store operations, but I have a few ideas of how that could work.
Well, you can actually get scammed even harder by eBay if you want, because you can take your stuff into FedEx and let them set the price and do everything for you.
Is that
which
true?
I think is, yeah. I'm fairly certain because I feel like I think it's FedEx. I think it's FedEx Kinko's, but it might just be FedEx. Let me see, eBay. Valet maybe is what it is. I think this is it. Yeah, Valet drop-off program. Designed to sell items as easy and turnkey as possible. Customers will be able to sell items on eBay Valet in 3 steps. First, customers will be able to bring items into FedEx. Next, backed by the FedEx Office Packaging Pledge, FedEx team member will pack and ship the items to an eBay Valet processing center to be listed, sold, and shipped to the buyer. So you basically just hand FedEx an item and they just sell it for you, apparently.
I mean, that takes the middleman out. That also kills any idea of an eBay store in 2020, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for a long time. This is not like a new thing. This post was from May of 2016.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a weird thing too, because it definitely doesn't make eBay. It also, I feel like you're basically giving them an item and they're allowing themselves to sell it for whatever price they feel like, and then give you whatever price they feel like for whatever fees and whatever else they decide to take out. So you're basically giving them a free item and they may give you some money back, is basically what it sounds like.
Oh, so it's like trading something into GameStop. Like, hey, here's my last year's model iPhone. Okay, we'll give you $50 for it. Like,
I don't even think that's it, because they have to wait for the thing to sell, I guess, before they give it to you, right? Like, it's not even going to be immediate. That's the other weird thing, is like you're just giving them an item with the intention that it'll sell at some point, hopefully. Like, I don't know. How does they track all this? Like, what is the...
And do you have to like sign an agreement that you won't like try to get the item back?
I have to imagine that there is that. Yeah.
Well, don't give FedEx Kinko's your grandma's heirlooms that she left you.
Yeah, I mean, plus, I mean, if you're doing it for drugs, shelf. Like you're always selling grandma stuff for it, then you know what? You're not getting it right now, so maybe don't even worry about it. Maybe talk to your dealer, see if he wants a couple crocheted coasters.
Or just take out a loan, like, hey, man, sorry, I'm a little broke. I'll get you next time. And then you never get them next time. Right. It's a vicious cycle.
Well, you have to find a new one to, I don't know. So you have to, that seems like a long con, because you have to work up a rapport of actual credibility before you do the swindle and then disappear and find your new guy, then build up cred again. That's
There's
like
gotta
that's a
be
long
that guy
game.
though. There's gotta be that tweaker out there who's traveled from the east to the west coast, just grifting drug dealers. There's gotta be
Oh,
that
Derek,
one
yeah.
guy.
No.
Holy shit!
No, not at all.
Whew.
It is anytime somebody talk. That's been the thing about. I can't wait to tell about this too, because every time somebody's asked me about Derek, I've told them that he's in a different place every time. Like because I just don't know where he is technically. So I'm like, oh, I think he's in Brazil. Oh, I think he went to Canada. I think he's up in Ireland, maybe. Like, just fuck it, because I don't know.
He joined a team of traveling scientists in Antarctica. Like, that's where he's at.
That's sort of what our other friend Curtis did, though. He was doing like COVID testing, and they've just been sending him around doing that at random places. So it's kind of what that sort of. Yeah, I don't know. But
well,
yeah, anywho.
Let's just dive into some shit. And I guess this is the trend for the month. Ain't shit really happening. Like,
yeah, well, not
honest.
until yeah, like we've been saying, I think until the holidays hit, or really until these consoles drop, which I guess is soon, right? November.
November 13th, I think.
Yeah, let me see here.
Fairly certain about that date.
November 12th.
Okay, well,
for the PS5.
Day late, dollar short, whatever.
Look at that! You can already buy them on eBay for $900.
Of course, or you can give it to FedEx Kinko's and they'll give you $50 for it.
This is the Sony PS5 console disc version confirmed order from Best Buy. And then listen to this. I fucking love these scam fucks. It's like it's a confirmed order for a person, so he hasn't even bought the thing yet, but you're buying the console, you're buying his pre-order, and then for what is that, a $500 more markup, and then in addition to that, it's $50 to ship it. He can't even be generous enough to give you free shipping after he gives you an extra $500 on top of that for his pre-order. What a fuck, an asshole, dude! There's like a bunch of reports. I'm looking at, when I search PS5, the shop now, the only options are all eBay, and they're all $899, $989, $1,000, $1,050.
Just don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Like,
yeah, it's not. They're gonna make more, dog.
They're gonna make more. Not only that, but like daily, there's restocks that I've seen. Like,
look at this one. Sony PlayStation 5 console disc version, brand new and sealed. Yeah, because you don't have it yet. Of course it's brand new and sealed.
Okay, I gotta look up some of these listings. That's insane.
Just all I had to do was Google PS5 release date, and that's the whole shopping side of this. On the right side, this should be a criminal offense.
Oh, look at that! You're right.
Yeah, that's all it is. Shit. That's the only place you can get them is just eBay for fucked prices.
Look at
actually,
business.
You know what? I'm gonna look up something else too. Now I'm just out of curiosity because of the fact that they sit more out.
Well, what I was also gonna say on top of that is that there's plenty of reports of like people like buying a pre-order on eBay and then they turn around and cancel the order and pocket your cash. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing
and
stopping
eBay
them
gives
from that.
fuck all about it. Honestly, like eBay is like very anti either side of the fence, like consumer or buyer most of the time. It's dependent, but it's really like super bad. Yeah, even the Switch. This is hilarious though. I'm so glad Nintendo released more of these without saying they were going to. Because now all the eBay listings, because hand to God, almost bought one for $600 when the game came out. I almost did it, but I was like, I'm not going to do this. I hate eBay as it is. I'm definitely not going to trust them with this. But yeah, now $369, $398, $375, $275. $220. And then these fucks too, just selling the dock and Joy-Cons for $200. Go fuck yourself. This one $299. I don't even know why you're selling it for retail. That's weird. Cause at that point, why did you even buy the thing if you're selling it brand new for? Unless you own your own store, but then you're still not making any money. It's really weird.
Yeah, I wanted the thing, and I kind of kicked myself because I went into a GameStop and they were like, "Hey man, we got like 5 more for pre-order if you want one." I was like, maybe, and then I didn't do it.
Yeah, that, I mean, like I said, I had the option to pre-order PS5 too, and I didn't do it. I had it in the cart ready to go, and I was like, nah, I'm fine.
I mean, in the rush of my like amiibo collecting, like especially like the first like few series were like harder to come by, I turned to like eBay and Amazon, like people's like customer listings on Amazon.
Yeah.
I paid some unhealthy prices for some things and did some things I'm not proud of, but like ultimately,
did you S a D for an amiibo? Did you Nintendo DS somebody for an amiibo?
Man never kisses and tells. That's all.
Man never sucks and tells. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And then you got this fucking piece of garbage right here. He has 6 of them, all for sale for $4.59.
Oh, dude, did you see the like when the SNES Classic came out?
Oh, I'm sure it was the same bit of garbage. I hate these garbage people. It's just if you scalp on eBay, you're a trash. You're a trash fire.
Trying to find like the piles of these things that people had.
Oh, it was a lot. Yeah, I remember being a ton of these.
Oh, I can't find any photos of those listings, but there would be dudes like having like 20 of them on like his kitchen table and like selling them for double the fucking price that they came out.
It's probably the same fuck right here that's got that has 6 of these. Like, at what point are you like, yeah, I'm good? And you know what? Now that they've sold more, I hope you sit on these forever, you piece of shit. I hope you wasted, what is that? Almost $3,000. Good deal. Good job. You suck, and I hate you.
All right, you ready to get into some shit that's happened?
Oh, this is the shit right here, boy. This is it.
We're in it.
Yeah, this dude's even selling Minecraft cereal boxes.
Oh, God. We bought a box of that for Lily, and she ate it in like 3 days, and then we threw the box away.
Yeah, well, you missed out on your...
my payday, apparently. Yeah.
I don't know what this is. $12.99 each for these.
Is it the creeper box? Like, does it look like a creeper?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's marshmallows. It was a decent cereal. It was all right.
What is this guy like?
Kind of had like an apple taste.
Yeah. He's selling an Apple Watch Series 5 for the same price as a Series 6. That's cool. This guy's doing a lot of cool stuff. He's got 5 flight sticks he's bought, and he's selling all those for above markup. That's pretty cool. I don't know why I'm so annoyed, but this stuff just irritates the fucking living hell out of me.
Very, very irritating. Like retro consoles, things that are like over 20 years old, things that you can't come by anymore. I understand value of those things going up.
I understand if it's in great condition and it's, not easily. But this guy's like just buying 6 of everything and just throwing it up for exorbitant prices. Like, I don't know is he stealing all this shit?
Well, what I think he's trying to get are the people that are naive enough to click those links when they Google something and then just like purchase them without even a thought. Like, there's so many people out there that don't do any research. So taking advantage of those people is very easy in the e-commerce world, I imagine.
Yeah. What? Okay. Juice WRLD 24x30x4 acrylic original painting, painted by a very talented young artist, $500.
It's him. He's the artist.
I hope it is. I hope it is. Also, how fuck of a fuck are you where you're like, you're selling someone else's artwork for more? That's cool.
I actually read a story recently where some dude tried to take a Banksy photo to a like antique roadshow in Britain, and they were like, "Hey, dude, you kind of ripped this off of a public space that the art was intended to stay in, and like, yeah, we're not paying you shit." And apparently, like
Well, that's like,
Banksy has
isn't that
like
like
a
even more of an issue?
well, yeah, I guess so, but like I get the philosophy behind it. Like especially trying to make a quick buck off of something that was never supposed to be sold anyway. Like, so Banksy has a program. I forget what it's called, but he essentially has like a certification program where if people think that they've come by like an original Banksy, they can like submit it for a review, and if they find that it's certifiable, they'll get a certification on it, and then they can sell it. But it's at like their discretion who does and who doesn't, I guess.
Weird.
So yeah, I mean,
What a weird enigma of a person he is. Like, that's one of the most interesting, like, just in general artists to. I mean, he's the only real, like, we have a lot of good artists, obviously, and you see them now more than you ever would before, just by virtue of the internet. But I feel like he's one of the only few, like, you could consider him like a Picasso or like a that type of artist that's like,
yeah,
for generations to come, you'll go, oh, that guy. Like, and I'm sure there's like a few, probably I don't even know, because it's one of those things that's like so universally known. His work, you go, that's this guy, and you can't even. I mean,
and
yeah,
I think
it's just
art
crazy.
At a point was like yeah, you have like artists that like painted chapels and like, you know, renowned photos of like emperors through time and shit like that. But like, I think art at its core can be pretty anti-establishment. And then you see like other dealers in the art world, like other artists and stuff, and they're like up their own ass in their like fucking New York condos, like with their lavish lifestyles. And that's one thing about Banksy is that like, because the art is so separated from the man, like you don't know what kind of life this dude's living. Like you have no idea.
Yeah, no, not even. Yeah, not even
like,
a little
he's
bit.
not in the picture at all. And so like, I think that that's another good comparison to like older artists is that like, yeah, their stories and their bios are like told through texts through time, but also today they're as like a mystery as anybody else unless you go looking for that info.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's crazy that he's one of the few artists I could think of that can just vandalize something and everyone's like, that's awesome. Great. Go ahead. Just do whatever you want, apparently.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, if he's been elusive for so long that it's amazing that like nobody's like rolled up on him and then like, you know, oh, this is Banksy. He's the one tagging like all this stuff. It's because honestly, his art brings value to otherwise valueless things, I think. So they just kind of let it slide. I don't know.
I guess that's true. I wonder, like, I mean, obviously he doesn't. I mean, I guess he can just go under the guise. Because I was thinking of, like, what do you do with your bank account? How are you, like, this dude comes in and deposits, like, like $200,000 on a weekly basis. What's the deal? Who is this dude? You're like, in cash. You're like, what are you doing, my man? Not this. I mean, again, I have no idea about his finance or anything. We should probably.
That's the cool thing.
Talk about news, I guess.
We should. Tell me about Ubisoft Connect, because I don't know shit about this. I know there's like some cross-platform initiative, like some, like, is that the essentials of it?
Well, it's basically, so it's changing Ubisoft. The Ubisoft Club is changing its, is closing its doors and reopening as Ubisoft Connect, and then Uplay PC, I think is the other name. And then, it's a cross-platform ecosystem across Ubisoft games. I guess it probably mainly just focuses on, like, Division and like Division or Division 2, I guess, rather. Siege, that other game with the swords that some people play sometimes.
For Honor? Yeah.
Yeah, not Chivalry. And then, so yeah, they're doing that, and I guess it's also like you can connect through their apps so you can access your benefits and all that stuff everywhere. I guess the major thing is that they're giving a lot of free rewards, but it's basically the stuff you would spend Uplay points on. So for games that aren't necessarily transitioning to this new platform in the same way, they're giving like basically all that stuff to them, so you don't have to spend credits on that stuff, I guess. I would say this is like the only system that Ubisoft, or like as far as these like, because we bitched about launchers plenty of times in the past, but I did always like this Uplay thing. Like, I know it's not great, but I always like the, like, here's an achievement, here's an extra costume, spin coin, whatever, just that weird, like, yeah. There's, like, I felt like there was nothing really wrong with it. You could use it for discounts and stuff later. It was, without the physical items, it was sort of the idea of Xbox achievements initially that just Xbox never got around to. Or did and then quickly canceled after they sent out Fusion Frenzy 2 to people. But it is I don't know, it's kind of neat. One thing that's troubling that I was not this specifically, but I was looking because Legion's coming up, and I was like, because I think what I'm probably gonna do, because Valhalla comes out a week later, is I think I'm just gonna buy a month of whatever on that day that Legion comes out, so I can just play both of those for $14 or whatever. But if you get the Gold Ultimate Plus edition or whatever of, I was about to say Saints Row, but Watch Dogs Legion, there is that version has, it says like 4 weeks of VIP access, and I don't know what that means, and I feel like that's really, like, is there a big online proponent to this game that I don't know about, or is like, what does that mean? Because that sounds like,
you're talking about Legion, right?
Yes.
Well, because like the second Watch Dogs had multiplayer features, I think that this game will have the same thing.
Yeah.
And Watch Dogs 2 also had like new story content, or I don't know about story, but they released like new, like added content to that game later on. I almost want to say that they probably had like a similar program for that game, because there was a lot of content that came out of that stuff.
I think, I wonder if it's like if it's gonna be set up like the Division 2 is, where if you get VIP, you get like the new content before everyone else gets it, like a week before or something, even though it's still free there anyway.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find any information on this.
Yeah, I just wonder like what that VIP status gets you in a game like that, because I'm sure there's social features. I'm sure that they're going to have a multiplayer aspect to it. I haven't seen any of that, but I almost want to say that they came out and said that game will have some multiplayer, right?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I really don't know.
It's
World
such a
story,
wildly different game from that second one too. Like, I have no idea what they're even going for.
I don't. I'm very curious to play this game. Like, this is like, I mean, I would like to see Valhalla also, just because I enjoyed the last Assassin's Creed to some extent, even though I still haven't finished it because it's like a 200-hour game for no reason. I'm like,
I never got into the Assassin's Creed stuff.
Here's Ultimate. Apparently, there's a VR Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell game coming to Oculus, but I don't know what those are. Yeah, 4-week VIP status, but I don't. That's all it says. It doesn't even tell you what that means.
That's a part of the Ubisoft stuff?
No, it's a part of the Ultimate Edition of this game. It's the Season Pass, and then Urban Jungle Pack 3 with playable characters, and then London Descendant Pack. It says you make
money 30% faster.
Oh, cool. It's that same bullshit they did with the Assassin's Creed. Yeah, okay, so it's that dumb shit where it's like I mean, I never had an issue with it, but it was like a thing where they're like, yeah, you earn somewhat less experience, and I guess this one's currency, so maybe that's not as big of a deal. But I imagine if they're adding something that you pay for, probably is. Yeah. Wow, that's annoying. That's really annoying. I don't know.
Ubisoft's a weird studio to me, man. Like I've tried multiple times to get into games of theirs, and I own a lot of their most recent games, but haven't sunk too much time into them because I don't know, man. It's just something about the games that they put out just don't appeal to me broadly. I loved Watch Dogs 2, though. I thought that game was incredible.
I like most of their games to an extent. I really like Far Cry, even though they've been hit or miss. I've liked pretty much all of those.
I love the Rayman
even though
games.
they're the same. Yeah, Rayman's really good. That Mario Kingdom was pretty good. Mario and Rabbids tactical game, that was all right.
Good time.
I've been playing The Crew 2 lately. That's been pretty good. I mean, it's not the best racing game, but it's pretty good. I think this is weird too, that it's only a 45 gig game, which is strange for 2020 for an open world video game.
I mean, honestly, when I see something like that, I get excited about it because it
will take you a week and a half to download.
Well, there's that aspect of it. It's just also having every game be 80 plus fucking gigs is getting really tiring.
Well, now that you mentioned it, I'll bring up this next story.
Transition.
I saw this earlier. So Fortnite's latest patch on PC makes the game 60 gigabytes smaller, which is pretty good considering it was up there in the 100 gig category and now down to 31, which means I'll re-download it so I can play some Save the World, I think. Which is because I've been keeping wanting to check in, but I'm like, I don't want to clear 100 gigs for this game. And 30 is totally doable. So that's although I did also install actually with the fact of getting Amazon Prime free trial again for the 30th time, I did all the the Twitch integrated stuff and the free things they give you, but Destiny 2 had some free items in there, so I downloaded Destiny 2 again to probably not play at all.
Them sunsetting the content's upsetting to me. I get why they're doing it. They're essentially trying to usher that game into a new phase entirely and leave the old stuff behind.
Honestly, some of that content wasn't that great, to be honest. Some of those planets were kind of booty, and I feel like that's fine that they do that. I don't,
I do think a more focused experience is something they need to go back to, because there came to a point where you get all these exotics. There's so many activities to do that it's just juggling all the time that you don't have to do specific things.
Yeah.
So it forces you into hard choices to make over the things that even though you have these cool exotic blueprints, it's okay, I only have time to crank out maybe 3 of these very long grindy quests.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's another actually that's a weird thing too, is I somehow have 16 of the 23 available achievements for that game on Steam. And I don't know how that's possible, because I have not ever raided in this game. I've never played to completion or whatever any of the stuff, but somehow I'm I mean, maybe these are all just stuff that is story based or something, so that's why. I don't know. I thought that was really weird when I downloaded. I was wow, I've almost finished that game. Achievement wise,
all the codex stuff you unlock in that game, and all the titles.
Yeah,
badges,
I mean that's the system.
Yeah, if every single thing of those was an achievement, you'd probably be looking at a way smaller number than that.
You'd be looking at Warframe numbers,
Jesus
as far
Christ.
as achievements and shit go, I guess.
Yeah.
I
mean, I welcome smaller games, though. I do like this. This doesn't make me think that games are getting any worse. I don't know.
Oh, no, I don't think so either. I just find it very odd. You know what I mean? It's just really strange for a huge open world game in this year that it would be that small. Yeah, that's not small, but especially with a lot of people are looking for 4K and they're looking for, higher res and all this stuff. So I figure at the very least it's got to be, I would say at least 80 or something, I don't know.
What I'm getting at is that you'll see the argument of people who are coaxing COD fans into oh, your game's 250 gigabytes, but it looks like shit. And there's this battle between like people who don't like COD games and like COD fans. Like, oh, it's 250 gigs because of all the content in the game and like all this shit.
I
And
mean,
I think it's all dumb as fuck. Like that game,
yeah.
it's 250 gigs because they haven't split the multiplayer off into its own thing. And the only thing people play in that fucking game is Warzone. So if it was, but that's the thing, even the Warzone download, like the standalone Warzone download, has everything in it. So if you go buy Call of Duty, you don't have to re-download everything, which I think is absolutely stupid, but whatever. I'm not the one making the money over there.
Well, Valhalla 2 is only 50 gigs. Somehow.
I think they may have come out and said it, but I do think that Valhalla is going to be a smaller world, like a smaller experience compared to Odyssey.
It has to be, man. Because Odyssey is way too big, to be honest. Like, as cool as it is, it's way too big.
I think that was the biggest complaint that I heard from journalists and like fans of the series at the time, is just that like the world being big is one thing, but padding it like with all the shit that they padded it with, and on top of that nerfing the progression, so you're like kind of forced into getting these boosters and stuff. It's like it's a lot. Yeah, it's a huge amount of shit.
Yeah, because that's not right either, because it says it only needs 46 gigs, and that is not true at all. I'm pretty sure my download for that game is right in the 90s.
I remember downloading it, and it was pretty egregious.
Yeah, so maybe these numbers are just that this is the download size and not the actual install size.
Yeah.
I wonder, because that makes it seem a lot cooler, like, oh, that's not that bad, and it's like, actually, motherfucker.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I guess we'll talk about this one real quick. I didn't even know this was happening. I had
It's been on mobile, I guess, for a bit, but now they're giving all the updates to it, or maybe it did just come out. I'm not sure, but it's either way, it's on mobile now. And then there's the roadmap, which that's stuff we all already have on the PC and Switch side of stuff, or console side, I guess, too. Although update 3, I'm not sure what that is, because it actually doesn't say, so maybe that's a new update for everybody, which would be cool. Although I would hope we would get it sooner. I need to
go back to, and also like how would you play this on mobile? Like, not to be that guy.
Well, no, I mean all stuff now supports Bluetooth controllers, like all the iPhones do. Android phones I have for a while, but I'm sure more so now than ever.
That's actually
especially with with Xbox's streaming stuff on Android, and then Apple Arcade or whatever.
I've actually been very on the fence about buying this.
The question is, do you really feel like you would use it that often?
Honestly, like there was a minute there where like I was really into, well, not only emulators but also like finding console style experiences on Android. And there's a few really good ports of like console games like native to Android. I mean, Stardew Valley's like, it's pretty much the entire game, I think, minus the latest update, but they're, those things tend to lag behind on mobile. Minecraft on mobile is like, with a controller, it's essentially the same experience. But also, I did the beta testing for xCloud.
Oh, right.
And it worked. It worked very well. Like, I was actually very impressed by it. And if that comes with a Game Pass subscription, then yeah, man, if I go out on my patio, have a smoke break, I'll play Sea of Thieves on my phone, like, or if I'm at work, I can just bust out my phone and like start streaming some Xbox games, like when I'm out and about.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder, because I feel like in theory that sounds great, but I'm thinking of like the actual utilization, because it's one thing to like the fantasy is there for sure, but it's also like, well, you gotta grab your phone, you gotta bust out these controllers, you gotta link it to it, you gotta sign in, like, especially if you're just like going out to have a smoke or something. I feel like by the time that's all ready to go, you've done that and you're going back in, you know what I mean? Like, and then I guess I think too, like, while you're out and about waiting for something, you're like, all right, let me do all this to get all this going. and then all right, here we go, and then it's like I don't know. It seems like I said, in theory, it doesn't seem bad, but I do think of like the practicality of it, and I feel like I would utilize it way less than I think I would, especially by like nowadays, I guess. Not being able to really go too many places or whatever. I will say, like lounging on the couch or something while you're doing something else, that would be great. But I also, it's that same idea of like, I think it's anything that hinders a phone's battery further. I just am not in support of, like, because it's like phone batteries are already pretty shitty, like, and only get shittier as older, as they degrade, I guess. And I feel like most phone batteries already don't last. Like, I've actually been surprised at how long the iPhone 11 battery lasts. But
I mean, dude,
even
I mean, talk about content on these things. Like, I had a, hold on, what was this thing called? Moga. Like, I don't know if you ever saw the Moga controllers.
I had this. Yeah, I had one of these.
Yeah, I had one before there was even,
I had the one
content.
that was, like, much smaller, and it almost looked a little bit like an N-Gage, and then had a flip-up holder in the center of it, and it was, like, orange, and it kind of looked like that.
Trying
that
to find the
orange one
that I had.
Mine looked really similar to that orange. Yeah, actually, the one you just had your phone. No. This thing right there.
This one?
Yeah, it looked really similar to this. It was like it might have actually been exactly this one. I think they released two versions of like a really similar one, but
yeah, this is the one. If you had this one, this is the one I had. And
okay, yeah.
That was back before there was any games on like.
Yeah, it was for like emulators if you could kind of get those to work.
Yeah. And I mean, but developments have come far in that field. Like, RetroArch is really good on the Switch on Android platforms.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
see. But that's okay. So here's the other thing then. With that being the case, what's stopping you from just getting a clip for like an Xbox One controller and then just having that? Because
I don't think that that's very ergonomic. I like the clip, like the side, having that like form factor. Like,
yeah,
because the other thing is like bending around with the clip. Like, anytime like I played with that Moga, it always like folded weird. The clip was never quite as tight as you wanted it.
Well, yeah, you also gotta say that's like one of the first versions of that idea too. So I feel like we've come a long way in that aspect. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to feel this Razer thing because like I find the Switch to be not very comfortable. Like the Switch Lite is like leagues ahead of this, and I still don't think that that's like the most comfortable thing.
Well, the thing about the thing about the Switch is that the back of the device is flat. Like that's where like the ergonomics of it kind of suck. So if you like look here, it's a little more like I guess formed.
Well, mine have like
that I expected, but.
Hold on, I'll pull one of these out because it's got like I don't know how well you can see that, but this one's got like the actual thing's got like a groove to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's good.
So
but that also ain't like a first party thing. So
no, and it also doesn't feel that great either. Like it's not. I mean, I don't know. The ergonomics of this thing have always felt a little like off.
Well, the other thing is that like you look at the thickness of the handles of this one, and I think that the problem I have with the Switch is that it's so small that like it digs into your palm, so your hands get like a little numb. Like I don't know if I'm the only one who experiences that.
Well, I think it's because it's sort of
off.
Yeah, it kind of like blocks off your wrists a little bit too. You have to, and the weight kind of like I don't know. There's like a combination of things on that makes it not feel all that great. Which is the thing I wish the Switch would have started utilizing is like making different types of Joy-Cons because they have the ability. Like I don't know why they don't just make other style Joy-Cons and just slide them right in. Because other companies have done it. Why don't they just do it themselves?
That was my idea, like, I guess not just my idea, but, like, going into the Switch,
you're the only one.
When they were showing... I was the only one who thought this? Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
You're the only one.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
I thought I was insane. But the thing is, like, when they showed that Switch presentation in March, like, or like February, right before the Switch release, and they showed like, oh, you can take these controllers off. They like detailed the Joy-Con and everything, and they were showing it. It was like, oh, like it just clicks in there like this little slide rail thing. Like they could do so much with that. And there were like all these concepts that came out of like, oh, this is like a GameCube style like slid controller. This is like it kind of makes it look like the Wii. But the thing I wanted was like, take the form factor of your Pro controller, like the joysticks on that, because the joysticks on the Joy-Cons like suck ass. Like take that form factor, like the buttons. Like I prefer the squishy buttons of a Pro controller than the clicky buttons of the Joy-Cons.
I'm coming around on the clickiness. I kind of didn't like it. I still think the Lite is better, like button wise, but I'm coming around to it.
It's just like it's the only console that I ever played that has that. Like every other console I've ever played has the squishy buttons. I can't think of another console that does the clickiness. And it's like it's okay. It's like instant
honestly
feedback, but
the Xbox Elite one is kind of like they're not clicky, but they're not as like mushy as you would want. I don't know if that comes through or not at all, but
yeah,
it's like it's obviously it's not the same as the click. But I guess have you ever tried the split pad? Because I've heard really good stuff about it. That like Hori made.
It looks a little. I don't know. To me, it makes it look a little goofy. Just
definitely does.
In my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you're not. That's the thing about that is like you're not really wielding that out in the open. I guess if you took it to a friend's house, it would be really convenient, I suppose. But, I don't know because
it's like it's a little much for me.
I almost grabbed one because I was gonna try to grab because Best Buy had them in the wrong spot and it was like 25 and I was like, oh, $25. I thought these were way more expensive, and then I was like, oh, it's 50, and I was like, nah, like 25, sure, 50.
It's almost reminiscent of like the Duke in a way, like the original Xbox controller.
Yeah, well, I think because it has these extra like what is that 6 buttons on either bottom side there, or like whatever those do. I guess turbo buttons probably. Have you ever used a turbo button?
Yes,
like
actually,
you have.
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. I never have.
Well, because in Animal Crossing, this is the only recent game I ever used turbo. Like when you're doing a bunch of like fruit chopping and farming, like I turbo the Y button, so I just like keep running and grabbing things without having to just mash Y the whole time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I could see that for that. Yeah. I've had a few controllers that have had them, but I've never set one up to actually do anything.
I'm getting it this time. This is my favorite controller I own for the Switch.
Oh, sure.
Like, easily. It has the turbo function and everything there. But yeah, it has the form factor I like. The people don't like that stick placement, but I've never minded it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I grew up on a PlayStation, so it really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I think the Xbox one still feels better, but I don't mind that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's controllers, man.
I guess the thing I'm thinking of doing is doing a nice Franken quest and ordering a Vive Deluxe head strap. I think that might be the move I make because I don't like this Elite. I keep seeing rumors, and this is kind of news, but I've seen a lot of posts on Reddit about the Elite strap snapping on the sides of it, and mine's still in good condition. So if I take it back, that's like $50, and the Vive thing is only $100. So it's like $50 more, but you get built-in headphones and then a more secure thing. The only caveat is you have to order attachments from like Etsy of like 3D printed things that actually connect the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the move to make. I'm debating on it. I cannot make this thing like comfortable. Like I keep trying everything. Like I've switched now to just like the strap that it came with, and that's like kind of better in some ways, but worse in others because it's like the weight's not really there, but like it feels a little bit softer because
have you tried to wear like a beanie under it or anything? Because I see people
I was looking for one because I've heard that, but see then you get into that thing of like where you just heat up faster, and like when you're already
Yeah.
like moving around a bunch, which is kind of unnecessary. Uh,
I
so
don't know. I
that's
like
I
that. I like that Elite strap, but I never wore it for. I mean, I wore it when we did the office LAN party last week. My buddy brought it up to the office, and he had the Elite strap. I wore it for like 30 minutes playing Beat Saber, and it was. I thought it was fine. It didn't do this. Like the thing I can't stand about the Quest one is that it's so front heavy that it like you can feel it sag. Like as you're just playing it, you can like I feel like I'm constantly pushing that thing up my face.
yes,
But if I
yeah. Well, see,
strap the
that's
sides on too tight, like it's not comfortable on the side of my head because of my glasses.
yeah.
Um,
Well, and see, I think that's another thing that this will sort of alleviate because the way that the Vive strap is set up is it comes under here. So it's like done like this, and then there's a thing over the top. So it's like it sort of cups the back of your head and then goes over top rather than on the crown like these ones do.
yeah.
And I think, and it also has like the hook. It has like another attachment that has the hook like higher up, so that like it has like a more of a float feel to it, I guess. Um, yeah, because this thing, the problem is like, so they've all been snapping like right here, which I think is because people, like when you take it off, you sort of push up on it, so they've been snapping on the sides, and then the other thing is this like rubberized pad is held into this plastic with these two like screws that are like maybe that big. They're like
Yeah.
very, very small. And that was the other thing that people are having issues with is it's like either ripping out or snapping on the sides. And I'm like, for $50, that's pretty insane. Cause it's been like kind of all over Reddit with that. So I'm like thinking, I would rather just spend the other 50 and get a Vive strap instead. Because the deluxe audio strap I've heard really good stuff about, and that's like sort of what everyone. Wait, hold on. What did that say? Quest 2 Halo strap tees? What is that?
I am not quite sure what this is.
You fucks. Are you really about to pull some shit like this?
Oh, hold on. The creator of one of the
okay.
most popular Oculus Quest comfort mods has confirmed work on a similar accessory.
Okay, well that's good on him. Yeah,
'Cause
okay.
I was looking to see if it's compatible with the Quest 1 because I almost want you to bring it to the LAN just so I can see if it's compatible. I don't know if it is.
I don't. It's not. It's the way so the original one has squared off sides. This one has rounded off sides, and the original one, the straps slid into the rails on there. Where this one snaps onto the side of that rounded like oval side. Well, I can show you. It's like, so because it's rounded here and the Quest 1, I believe these are hollow and they're squared off at the end, so you put a thing through and then there's like a latch at the end, whereas this you literally just pop this on and off. Actually, I'll show you with this. It just snaps into this thing.
I got
those,
you. Okay.
So those just pop right on the side, which is the other thing that's like kind of not great. And so with the way the ones that are 3D printed, what you do is you sort of snap that on there. Then there's like a slide that goes over the deluxe head strap. And then a lot of people will do this thing where they get this like shrink wrap tape thing and then just heat it on so it just like heats to it. I'll probably just Velcro it because, you never know if it's going to last or whatever. But the 3D printed ones seem like really precise and pretty nice. Like a lot of the ones reviewed and they're like pretty cheap. So it's like all in, it's like maybe $120. But if I take this thing back, it'll be like, I don't know, like $60 or something like that. Which, not that bad. And then you have built-in headphones, and then there's like cable management for the actual like PC link, which is another kind of big deal. Cause,
that's actually so. I just want to show this off real quick, I guess, while we're talking VR for a second. I bought the official Link controller, or the Link cable. And like it's long, it's nice. I did buy a new headset though, like these AKGs that I have, and I got a long cable for my PC and a shorter cable for the Quest, right? But the shorter
Right.
cable was a little too long, so I finagled it a little bit, and I like put it in a loop and like just velcroed it to the side. It looks atrocious, but it
Yeah.
does the job.
So what I did with that, because I've been using like some other some Sennheiser PX C550s, if anybody knows what those are. I just tucked that cable into my shirt. Like I just had the headphones on and then just had that thing tucked in so it gets out of the way completely. And it's not a great solution, but it's been, I don't know. Well, mainly
I just
now
have it
because
like
this
bundled,
other wrap
and I
is,
just have to like. There's this tiny length of cable, and I just pull that up and snap into the headset, and I don't even feel like any extra weight of a cable or anything.
sure,
It just
yeah,
looks
yeah.
goofy. It looks very
Yeah.
goofy.
It does look a little silly. That's all right, though.
I just don't think that they thought about, like, at least on the Quest 1. Well, apparently on the Quest 2 as well, because there's
No,
no
they didn't.
cable
Because look at
management.
this. Yeah, like this is they thought of it even less here because this is all just rubber. So I'm like velcroing wire to the sort of parts of this to then keep the cable there. I mean, on the Elite one, it's better because it's plastic. But if you didn't do that, it's like, what's this, man? This is just like flimsy ass, elastic. Well,
Yeah,
that's not
and
gonna
it's
hold
also
shit.
like the cable's plugged into the side, so if it's plugged in while you're using it, you're constantly hitting it and disconnecting it with your left arm. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. Just doesn't.
Oh, see,
why
I
not
haven't
have,
had that
like,
issue,
built-in-
but
Well, I mean, if it's just hanging there, like there's a reason you
Oh,
Velcro
yeah,
it
yeah,
off
yeah.
and pull it behind you, because if you didn't have that, that thing would just be hanging there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
You'd hit
It's-
that thing all the time.
they trust their USB-C connection pretty insanely. Because
I
really,
don't.
what I think, same, and what I think they should have done is, you know how the connector has like, it's like tiered almost. There's like that round top, then it has like another little bump,
Yeah.
and then it goes straight down. Why didn't they just cut a groove into the plastic so that whole second section just slots right in? Do you know what I mean? Like that.
It's weird, man. It
makes it
still
so
an
much more.
afterthought.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I keep having so many caveats with the thing. I want to love it, but I'm having so many minute like I said, like, cause then the controllers are a little too slippery, so then you get this grip thing, so it kind of makes them. I mean, that helps substantially, and that's not like a huge investment, but it's still like, another thing where it's like, well, again, it's not even them. These are technically designed for like the Rift S and then the Quest 1, but they just happen to fit it perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where it's like, if they're going to design their own accessories, are they going to design every accessory, or do we still have to wait for other people to do this stuff? Like, are they taking over the market, or are they not doing it? Like, what are they doing? They're not offering every accessory, but they're offering some accessories. But it seems like the quality of those accessories aren't that great compared to what other ones were.
The only like I mean, there's a few advantages to going to the Valve Index, but the only absolutely appealing one to me is the Knuckles controllers. If
Yeah,
they
for
could
sure.
make
Well,
if
the
they could
IPD
make
thing too is kind of big.
Do what? No, I'm sorry.
The IPD thing is kind of big. Like having the like proper adjust. For me personally, it seems like I would actually be curious if you would bring yours over to the LAN just so I can fit it to see if that's what VR is supposed to look like. And like I'm just because I have no base value to tell. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just supposed to look like this, as opposed to like, oh no, it is the IPD thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
You're talking about
if
like the distance between your eyes, right?
Yeah. Because like I said, it has the 3 settings only, and it's like I can see out of all of them, but some are different. Like some things are different in each of them, but I'm also not sure if it's a result of us not getting the full resolution of the thing yet, or if it's as a result of the actual IPD thing being the issue, or if it's a result of the refresh rate being the issue. Like I'm not sure.
If you're talking about like, is there like a general fuzziness that's bugging you?
Yeah. Well, it's like I can only see like dead on, and then if I look anywhere else, it's like blurry all around.
Oh no, that's I don't. Well, I mean, it's the nature of it, but I think because the way those lenses are crafted, that's kind of what you get. Like
Oh, okay.
even on like PlayStation VR or like even like the best VR headset that I've ever tried, like your periphery isn't like exact. And that's like a big complaint that a lot of people have about like VR hitting the next level is like giving you like that like true stereoscopic vision where
Yeah.
like you're not getting these like haloing effects around the edges of the lenses. um, and nobody really has a good solution for that. I think the crafting of those lenses has gotten better, but you still
Right.
lose that detail on the outside. Like you have that small window on the center of the lens where you're getting absolute clarity. But yeah, it's like just the
Okay, so it
nature
is
of it.
supposed to be a very tiny window.
Not necessarily tiny, but and like with the Quest, I mean like I think it is a combination of like the resolution of the system versus some of the higher end products out there, but there is that little bit of blurriness that you get on the edges of things, like because I noticed it too. Like the Quest One, like it's not the best resolution. I went into the debug tool and bumped up the resolution of like Link, like the actual Oculus app and like Steam VR, and like it helped a little bit. But yeah, if you're talking like the periphery and like people
Yeah.
call it like a goggle effect, like yeah, you still kind of get that no matter where you're going right now.
Well, that's what I mean, because again, I'm wondering if it's just like with an up, because technically the resolution of this is better than the index. Like the actual measurements of per eye is better than that. So, and that one's apparent is I guess opposed to there's like the PK Max, I think, which is like a 5K and 8K headset, which is like ridiculous. Or Pi Max, I'm sorry, and then the HP Reverb G2 is the other one that's supposed to be like really super clear. And it's below those two, obviously, but it's still above the rest. So I'm like, I don't know. It's really that thing is I wish I was given some information from Oculus when this whole thing is gonna happen, like when they're gonna patch this thing, when they're gonna do all this, because it's sort of like I was hoping that like getting this ahead of time would sort of give me that like confirmation of like, oh yeah, this is, you don't need the index, this thing's here, and I'm like, great. But like having used it, I'm like, the struggle with trying to make it comfortable and then looking at all the accessories to sort of help it become comfortable, and then like the sort of idea of waiting for when this is going to actually kick off and be like given the proper sort of resolution refresh, all that stuff. I'm like, I don't know what the move is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like kind of disingenuous of people out there like reviewers to say like the Quest is like now the standard, because there's still so many issues with VR as a platform in general. Like outside of the content, everything you just said, the comfort, the view, the like sound in some cases, like the fumbling nature of putting the thing on and taking it off, and then like do you get motion sickness in VR? Like, do you not experience that? Like,
Well, and it's
there's
also
too
like,
many variables at play for it to be a truly successful platform right now, and I think we're in like this middle stage. We're not at the golden era yet. Like, I don't think we're anywhere close. I think we're at this middling stage still, and we haven't quite got there.
well, what was there was an article I had up earlier, but it wasn't really like a news article, and I was gonna put it on the show, but I was like, I don't know. It's not, like I said, it's not really news, but let me see if I can just find it real quick, because it was sort of like in here somewhere. But it was basically like, it's like VR has been like 5 minutes away from being great for the last 5 years. Like it always feels like it's like, oh, we're almost there. We've almost got it, but it's still just like keeps not being the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens to me. Like it's still good. Like it's good, but there is, and again, there's nothing like it. And also true, it is like, that was something that I was the realization of earlier, was like, the Quest itself is like its own console. It's not even really like, it's like it's not even really a head mounted display anymore. It's like its own. It's like in there with. You would almost equate it to a Switch in a way, where it's like it's really weird. It has its own controllers. They're doing sort of their own idea of this thing, but it has its own internal storage, its own storefront, its own updates and platform, and games made specifically for it, exclusives or whatever. So in a lot of ways, it is a console. But they just happen to let you use it for other stuff, sort of.
Yeah.
Actually, looking at this, this is the other thing I was going to bring up in news, but it didn't. But Quibi's shutting down.
Oh yeah,
I read that earlier. After 6 months, it was the fastest alive to dead streaming platform to ever exist. So 6 months is all it took. I mean, they released a phone streaming platform in a pandemic, which is not their fault, more or less. So
yeah, but it's also like, what was stopping you from watching Netflix on your phone? You already had Netflix. Like,
yeah, well, that's the thing, is the idea was it's supposed to be like really quick. It was supposed to be like Vine, but longer, but for TV shows. It was like if each TV show was 5 minutes or something.
My experience with it was pretty cool, I guess. Like, as a concept, it was neat. Like, Reno 911 was the only thing on there I was interested in, so I got the trial, watched all of it, and then got out.
Yeah.
But, like, it was kind of cool because, like, I watched a couple episodes back to back, and I, like, did the thing where... Or, like, I repeated an episode because I was curious, because I watched it in the profile, or, like, the portrait mode. Like, they're marketing to you, like, hey, watch these in portrait. And you're like, okay. And then, like, for Reno 911, at least, like, there's a lot of off-screen gags and, like, other things that are happening outside of the frame, not, like, in the landscape mode. So it was kind of funny to see those things. So I get the gimmick of it, and I thought it was, like, a cool idea.
One thing I see. I didn't realize that it had any, like, implementation of stuff like that. I know there was, like, some movie that you could watch, like... If you watched it this way, it looked like just like a text chat kind of thing, and then if you watched it horizontal, is that what you just said? I'm sorry, I was like,
it's basically that. I mean, with Reno 911, it was more like they just filmed it with the platform in mind. So like you'd watch it portrait, and it was one thing. You'd flip it, and there's like a bunch of funny like things that are happening off screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one was sort of like, yeah, if you watched it, you know, in portrait mode or whatever, it would be like you were watching a live stream of like a guy stuck in a truck, basically like in an ice road. And then if you looked at it in landscape, it was like the actual like cinematic movie quality version of that same thing happening, which is kind of neat. But you're also like, it's cool as a concept, but a whole platform around it seems really strange. Yeah, I just saw that actually pop up, which I assume means he had it. It's gotta be some vegan shit, right? Or something to do with.
Oh, I think I get it.
What's that?
I mean, I'll look at it. Come on.
Oh,
he's holding them.
Okay. Yeah, it does look like a pee-pee.
That looks... Oh, hold on. Nobody can see this at home. Nobody could also hear that, by the way, just so you know. Yeah, this just came in, I guess. I looked at my phone for a split second because it wouldn't stop vibrating. And
they really wanted you to know that Steve's pee-pee is gone.
It's gone, dude. They got it out of there. Hold on.
Yep,
let's see what it looks like now. Okay, he's not holding it anymore. All right. Well,
yeah, that's. I mean, that is. Are you sure that's it?
That's it.
I mean, but did they say because it looks like a pee-pee?
I'm going to assume it. That's what. I'm going to assume that's kind of what they did it.
Oh, it seems like a not safe for work pose. I see. Okay, that is hilarious though. To just have Steve from Minecraft show you his dick when he beats you.
Dude, okay.
I mean, what a way to do it.
I say we take a quick break and come back, because I do have some things to talk about with Steve and Smash.
Oh, okay. You've been fucking around with him, I guess.
It's been something. It's
Oh,
sure been something.
okay. Yeah, I still hadn't
Um,
picked them up, so okay, I'm interested to hear. Then yeah, we'll take a quick break, and I guess when we get back, guys, Steve from Minecraft will join us.
Hell yeah, brother. We'll be back.
All right, welcome back, all boys and girls. Hello. Have you ever Steved during Minecraft?
Have I ever steved during Minecraft?
Yes.
No,
Have you
typically
Steved
typically when I play
Minecraft?
Minecraft, I do terrible skins that nobody likes. I like find the worst
Ah,
skins possible,
is
and I'm
that
just some
so?
yeah. So listen, I
Do
like to be different. I like to people to notice me. I like people
oh,
to
okay.
look at my avatar and say, that dude has no idea what he's doing.
That guy's
That dude is
cool.
a That dude's an 8-year-old kid who downloaded the worst Minecraft skin possible and uploaded
Right.
it to his avatar.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's
All right.
basically how I play Minecraft. But let me tell you something about fucking Steven Smash, dude. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna play some
First off,
footage.
what are the building bars above his head? What are these?
Okay. So as you get resources by doing neutral B,
Yeah.
you dig up resources like that, and the resource meter starts to fill on the bottom. Well,
Okay.
that counts
Jesus
towards what?
Christ.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So that counts towards what you can craft as far as blocks go. Summoning the minecart costs steel. Doing like the anvil down air like costs stuff. Placing the redstone trails to the dynamite costs redstone. Um, I mean, it's like an amalgamation of that character, like pretty exactly.
Yeah.
Other thing is you get the crafting table, and you get like gold and diamond eventually, and you just like
Sure.
hold B next to the crafting table, and you craft and upgrade the weapons. And
Oh.
diamond can like zero to like basically zero to death in a few hits.
Right.
His forward smash is insane. Like, I think he lacks in like general weight and mobility, but like online, it's the only thing anybody's playing right now. And like some of the like pro players are out there doing some stuff with him, and like I don't know what the consensus is yet because it's still too early, but
I don't know. I mean, judging by these fights, it looks pretty non-early. It looks pretty decisive.
it's fucking crazy. Like I played for a few hours this weekend, but like I had to step away because every single match, like even when I wasn't playing Steve, there was a Steve player in the game somehow. I had
Yeah.
like 2 games out of like the 20 I probably played that didn't have a Steve involved somewhere. And
Right.
like typically there's like a good week of like a honeymoon period where people are playing a character nonstop.
Yeah.
At least the new DLC character, except for Byleth. Nobody gave a shit about that character.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Um,
Yeah.
but
So, does this crafting table? Do you put this somewhere? Or does it just appear?
so it appears on you when you spawn in, and if you're holding shield and you press B, just neutral B while shielding, you'll teleport it to you.
Oh, you'll replay. Okay.
Um, yeah, so you can destroy it yourself by attacking somebody next to it, or somebody can kill it. Like, but you don't really want to camp it because they can just teleport it to them. So
Right.
you kind of want to make like strategic choices of like, okay, I launched them away. Let me do a little damage on their crafting table because it does give them, um, it gives them a heavy advantage to have it on the field. So if you're able to like deal with it, then they can't upgrade to like steel, diamond, gold, whatever,
Right.
for their weapons. And yeah, man, it's just insane. Like
Yeah, that guy
I
just killed himself because he knew it wasn't gonna happen.
yeah. Cool character. He's fun to play. I think I can't quite get the hang of him. I need to like get into some training mode with him and like really see what he's about. But overall, man, it's wild that they did this, and two, it's wild that it's like all things considered, a pretty powerful character.
Do you think it's the same thing that sort of happened when Banjo came out though? Because like when Banjo Kazooie came out, that side B was like so destructive, and it seemed like everybody was that for a while, and then they sort of figured out what you're doing. Do you think it's that, or is it he just that beast overall that it like maybe
He's
needs some
got
adjustment?
he's got a lot of options, and
Yeah.
I think maybe his like forward smash is a little too strong.
God, he seems like he has so many spikes too. I don't know.
Yeah, his forward air and his like the spike he does, his aerial spike is just so easy to land.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say it looked like it was pretty foolproof.
yeah, man, it's a wild character. I'm glad he exists. I'm glad they're doing weird shit like this, but at the same time, like I love playing Smash Online, even whenever I'm getting pissed off about it.
Mm.
And I just need to take some time away from the game until people kind of like either lay off the character or I can watch enough content to like kind of get okay. Here's like where he is weak the most, and like
Right.
exploit those weaknesses. But you can see it's just like he's got so, and like that dude was half shield and just forward smashed, like not even a full charge forward smash.
Yeah. Good
Broke his
Christ.
shield. Yeah, it's crazy. That's my experience with Steven Smash. I'm gonna keep playing him. I'm gonna try him out and
He's got some
see what
pretty
he's
good
all about.
outfits. Like
Oh yeah, yeah. His
I
skins
saw
are
one is like a
incredible. It's
weird
like
knight, and then he's got this like little tennis outfit. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Huh.
And I guess other than that, like anything else I've been doing, I played Sea of Thieves all fucking weekend.
I
Uh
saw. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll probably do some of that this weekend as well. But
yeah, I saw Kent actually has a lot of hours in it.
yeah, we
Uh
all we all played a lot for a while. Me, him, and Austin played quite a bit, and then yeah, I'm interested to probably see what they've got going on now. I guess do
Yeah,
some of
this is their
the tall
latest
tales.
update. Is that like you get through the black market trader in the tavern, you can pick up these like orders to go raid these vaults of the ancients, I guess. So like the objective is like you go around a map, you go around the map sailing around, following like a compass. It tells you where parchments are. You
Mm-hmm.
collect all these parchments together. It puts a map together, and eventually you can get it on the first scrap, but eventually you'll get a scrap that has an X on the island where you need to dig to get the key to enter this place.
Okay.
Um, and it's very lucrative. Like right now, I think this is probably as far as like time goes, and I could be wrong on this because I'm still pretty novice at the game, like all things considered, but we did like three of these and made just a metric fuck ton of money. Um,
Well, that's
they
kind of
also
good because
added,
everything in the game always seemed really expensive.
yeah,
Like all the cosmetics and stuff were always in like the hundred thousands, and you're like, man, is that really like? I guess if you get up to Pirate Lord or whatever the ranking is, Pirate
mhm.
Legend or something, you maybe you're getting a lot more. But yeah, this seems. I mean, can you take all these chests or no? Yeah.
So the thing is, like, I don't exactly know when time starts. I think it's when you start looting. But what we have done is like we'll go around and collect all the treasure. We'll drop it on the ground, have somebody running the chests outside of the door. And if you
Right.
can solve the puzzle in enough time, a door will open up with a chest of legends or whatever. It's like a very high paying chest. Um, Even if that opens though, the door is still closing, so you have to do it in time before the door fully closes to even get that chest out. And you
Oh,
can see, I
sure.
think, I don't know who's doing this. I just pulled up some footage, but I think that these people, this may be their first time doing it because I think
Yeah.
they're about to figure it out pretty quick that you run out of time.
Yeah. I was gonna
Um,
say because I feel like I would have been pulling these chests and just like throwing them somewhere,
yeah.
like right
What you really
outside the
should
door or
do,
something. I don't know.
yeah, what you really should do is like ledge peek, drop the chest all the way to the bottom, let one person run them out. The way we did it is we've been running 3 man, so one person runs the treasure, one person goes around and like finds the medallions. The person finding the medallions solves the puzzle, at the end, gets the other chest, runs that out, and then just helps run as many chests out as possible.
Right.
I think you really need 4 people to like get the most treasure out of this room, but yeah, I don't know if they're gonna get the solution here.
Well, they already don't have
there
it.
it is. There it is.
Oh.
They actually did it. But I wonder if the door is going to be closed behind them. But man, I've had a lot of. There we go. They're good, but they didn't get anything else out of that. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say it seems strange because
if you can manage to get all that stuff out, it pays out ridiculously.
Yeah, I'm down to do some of this weekend. I hadn't seen this in a while. Has the combat gotten any better?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
I figured, but I just figured I would ask.
Yeah. So what makes it even more lucrative is they added recently, I guess this was like in the last couple months.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of that. It's like you can pick they have like a second tier of the factions, I guess, or something like that, right? And you kind of get like
is you fly a flag. The flag raises level depending on like loot that you're finding in the world, objectives you're completing, and so that little emissary flag down there starts to level up.
Oh, I see. So is that sort of like a thing, like a tell that's like, hey everybody, we've got a ton of shit on this ship?
Yeah, or that either we have a ton of shit on the ship or just that we've done a lot, because you can raid them, like you can find them out in the world, kill them, take the flag, like if it's a level 5 flag, and go flip it and make money off of killing the high level.
Oh, you can sell their flags.
Yes. Yeah. That's like the whole point.
Okay. I see.
The other cool thing is that like when you, I don't know if it's just for the Reapers. I think it may just be for the Reapers, but when you hit level 5 Reapers, you can see every emissary on the map, but they can also see you.
Jesus.
So you can like start track, like, because the Reapers are the PvP faction in the game, and yeah, you get like a little representation when you vote. Like you can see how many ships on the field are a part of that emissary.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, man. Like honestly, and I was having this conversation with my buddies who I'm playing it with, and like nobody quite knows what they need to do to this game. But, like, it's a fun game. It's very fun. And, like, the objectives you're doing are amazing. Like, there's nothing quite like this game, in my opinion. But at the same time, like, the only true progression in the game is cosmetics. And I understand that the philosophy of wanting everybody on the same playing field. But this game always feels like it still has some untapped potential.
Oh, a ton of it, yeah. Well, I think, like, the combat is always been the same, which is to say kind of rough and like not really, like it never feels quite good to do. Even in its best like iterations, it's not that great. And then like there's also, I feel like, a lot of potential with like just sea creatures in general that could exist, which would be kind of neat. Like outside, like fishing was a cool update, but still it wasn't like quite enough. There wasn't like super rare fish or something that you're finding that makes it really rad that you did it. Like I found I was always catching like the same like 5 fish no matter where we were. And then like the I mean the progression is a big thing. Like a season pass of some kind or something would probably help too, maybe like some other little progression with your progression. I mean, I'm not, because there's obviously a lot of stuff that's ticking up, but like some maybe better dole out of items rather than just having to buy them all the time or like getting them very sparsely.
I mean, I'll go back to this real quick, this menu right here. So the new thing they added with the emissaries is that you level, like, you have a global kind of score as you're doing the season. So like the final ledger positions in rewards in 6 days. So whenever you do these and you hit like a certain rank, you do get like some pretty cool.
Oh, like, so there is. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that takes that out. But
it's tied to this, so I get what you're saying, like a global one.
Well, I didn't even know this existed. So.
Yeah. So I've had a couple suggestions. Like one, fix the combat, like make the combat more engaging, and like have
I think
more
that's where they should
varieties.
start. Yeah, I mean that's like
Yeah,
that's a big one because it would make even just the combat with the skeletons and stuff fun or engaging or something. Like maybe some better weapon variety in that regard too, like slower maybe two-handed weapons or something, or a shield of some kind. Like obviously pirates didn't really have shields or whatever, but like I don't know, something to kind of divvy that up a little bit, or
yeah.
an ability of some kind or some. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't need to be that kind of game, and the simplicity of it is maybe part of the beauty, but at the same time it could really use something like that, and maybe like more like again maybe more like interesting stuff on the sea that's not just shooting cannons at some, like another ship or another pirate ship or another ghost pirate
Yeah.
thing or whatever. Like again, I think the sea creature thing has huge potential, that they just sort of don't tap into, because like really the Kraken at a point just becomes an annoyance. It's not really like you're just like, ah, fuck, here's that thing.
Well, that's the
um
other thing that I'd suggest is just like more bosses, because you only come across megalodons. You come across the Kraken every once in a while. The
yeah,
ghost ships are really cool to fight. Like I actually really like those. That's really the three open world bosses you fight.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
that's
have
it.
added like these Ashen trials, I think is what they're called, where you fight like a pretty beefy Ashen boss, but it comes back to the like you're doing like hand to hand and ranged combat with this NPC that is just wildly powerful.
Yeah,
Um,
well, and it's like if you don't have a crew of like four, are you really even matching up to it? I mean, I'm sure you could do it, but is it really like, I don't know,
so
like
that's the other thing that I wasn't aware of in this game, and it's because I guess I was like just not paying attention. But the difficulty of objectives scales to the size of your boat, and I
oh, I
didn't
didn't
know
know
that.
that. I didn't either.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just assumed that they were there as they are.
yeah, because they assume like if you're running a galleon, you're probably running a 4-man. If you're running like a
Sloop.
sloop, you're probably a 2-man. The brigantine, you're probably running either 3 or I think you can run 4 in a brigantine. Um,
I think it's
but
I think it's
traditionally,
2 or 3. I want to say, and then I can't
yeah,
remember. It's been it's
I
been a
th-
long time. And actually the brigantine didn't really exist when I was playing. I don't think. No, it did. Never mind. No, it did.
yeah, um, yeah, cool game. I'm gonna keep playing it. I mean, I've started playing it and like when it hit Game Pass, really,
See,
and
that's
like I still
actually
come back to it every once in a while. So
that's another thing I think they could add is like if you had actual solo ships, not just the sloop, and then you could join in a group and have different boats. Like if you could actually make a
yeah,
fleet together, that would be rad. Like having
I
a
mean they
group
have
of
alliances, but all that's like I don't think that there's like an actual alliance system. I could be wrong, but I think that that's all just like, hey, let's just team up together.
it's yeah, it's like if you raise a certain flag, it'll say that you're like looking for one or a part of one, and then when people pass by, they can like join it or whatever.
Okay, I got
But
you.
it's not the same as like having four of you go to the same server and all get different boats and tooling around or whatever.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
The other
Um,
suggestion I had that they could add to the game to give it a little more something is to have like a shared social space, like a hub, like maybe an
yeah,
island on the map that when you start to sail up to it, like it like transitions into like an open like server instance where just like everybody at this island, and there's probably multiple instances of it depending on the population, but everybody on this island is an active player and you're all just like showing off your cosmetics and like doing emotes and talking
yeah.
shit and
Well, that's sort of what
like
they do in the PvP thing. I think before you start, you go to an area like that. But yeah, having one
yeah.
that's like PVE oriented, that is outside of that would definitely be a big thing. Um, I think probably
Like
some like
making a
more
social
island variety would
experience.
be cool too.
Yeah.
Like some different environmental stuff. Maybe some more types of things you're fighting on the islands instead of just skeletons would be awesome. Like if
Yeah.
there was some kind of native creature of some, I don't know. There's so many things you could do with this game, and it's just weird that. I mean, I think it's by virtue of them starting the game and not really knowing what the game was they were making necessarily. Like they had a pretty good proof of concept, but they didn't quite know what the game was, and I still think they're struggling to find what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they turned it around. Like, honestly, like, I think, like, you look at how that game released and it had, like, next to nothing, but they stuck to it and they kept on with updates. And I think that the people making that game have a real passion for it.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Yeah. For sure.
They also apparently have, like, an insider program where you can, like, do, like, these, like, kind of internal, like, reviews of, like, upcoming features. And like make suggestions on things like you want in the game, and apparently
it's sort of like the beta branch. Like you can sign up to be part of the beta thing. It's the same, I think, process of how the RTX Minecraft thing came up because I had gotten into that. I think it's the same idea, that insider program. But that app sucks, and that whole system is kind of bad. But
apparently a lot of like people in that insider program suggested the like ocean like life, like giving more like kind of lively creatures to the ocean.
Well, it's just so much space that's not being utilized. I mean, you would argue that like more of the map is water than it is islands, so it's like why are we not doing more with this?
I mean, it reminds me of Wind Waker in some ways, like, to be honest, like
yeah, absolutely,
gives me that same feeling.
But that's that thing with Wind Waker, I think, is like when you got to those islands, you kind of didn't have any idea what might happen at that island. Whereas here, you're like, it's going to be skeletons. I'm going to find some treasure, and there's a pig probably. You know what I mean? Like, I wish there was just... It's the same thing with Windbound, that other game I played. It's like every island you go to... I think this, obviously, Sea of Thieves is much better than that game in that regard. But it was still that idea of like... I kind of already know what I'm going to see when I get here. Nothing's like going to like substantially jump out and go, oh, what is this? You know, like, and I think
that's where the...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was pretty much finished.
I was going to say, like, I think that's where like some of the tall tales shine, because you get a lot of that, like there's things like you'll go to an island you've been to like 20 times, and like for this one tall tale, like this door opens up and there's like a whole labyrinth or something happening under the island. Shit like that's cool. And I think that like the tall tales are the strongest thing in that game, like as far as like narrative progression goes.
Well, that's the only thing that brought me back to it was that, because when those first came out, that's when Kent and Austin and I all got back in because we're like, oh, I want to see this. Because it always felt objectiveless, really, and it still kind of does, I guess. I guess not as much as it did, obviously, but I think that's the other thing by virtue. I think because I think those are so good, I wish some of that stuff happened at random. You know what I mean? Like you went to an island and you're like, oh shit, there's this thing here, rather than like having to start a thing to end up there. You know what I mean? Like that kind of random nature would be like welcome, I think, in the idea of like discovering these places and all that.
Yeah, because I think there's an argument to be had that like I like the philosophy they have of like they want everybody on an even playing field. There's no true like stat progression, but the progression in the game comes from... Well, I think it's like threefold, right? So you have like the reputations that you're leveling, and that'll get you more cosmetics and like different content later on, like the Athena runs and everything. The second thing you have is like the story progression of it. So you do the tall tales, and like some of the like event expeditions that happen outside of the tall tales, like the core ones. And then you also have the progression of just the cosmetics of it, like. But I think like people in general for Sea of Thieves prefer having that's what I was gonna say, the skill side of it, like the getting better at the game is like a sense of progression in a way,
right?
Because when you start the game, like it's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I gotta adjust all these sails, I gotta be like pointed in a specific way. Like it's a very deliberate game, and I think mastering that side of it makes it like gives it some type of like progression, even though it's like subconscious progression, I guess.
No, I mean it's still progression. I think I think too some kind of like I think even maybe a lot of this stuff could be serviced by like a player island of some kind, like you being able to set up camp or make out an island for yourself that people could just randomly come across or whatever could be neat.
Yeah,
Like that could be
the
really
other thing I was
huge.
talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, it has a ton of potential, and I mean, obviously they're going to keep it going for quite a while, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, do you want to talk about this first, or do you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't have a ton to say. I just started kind of playing through Fallout 4 VR because I found it for, I want to say $10. And yeah, I mean, it is Fallout 4 with none of the DLC. So
What?
if you've, yeah, it's vanilla Fallout 4. I've seen that you can that people have modded the game. If you already own the DLC for the base game, you can add it to this somehow. I haven't messed with any of the mods or stuff like that. I've just been kind of curious because it's been a long time since I've really played through the game anyway. I basically played up until you get dog meat effectively, because that's like still like 45 minutes ish or an hour of going through the deal and doing all this. It had some weird performance issues at first, and then I turned on the Steam VR smoothing that they offer from Steam side of stuff, and that fixed pretty much all the issues I was having, and made it quite a bit better. I think when I jump back into it, it'll be a better setup too, because I'm getting more accustomed to the locomotion style of like the free movement stuff, because it's been hit or miss in some games, and then this one's been pretty good. I wish all these games would sort of let you tweak that stuff more than it lets you, because this one's like your movement speed is either slow, medium, or fast. And I wish there was one in between slow and medium. Like you can kind of like let off the stick a little bit, obviously, but that's still not like super inducive. And then you can sprint. It is a little kind of weird because there's like a stamina system, obviously, that's in the game. It's also like, I mean, it's not a new game by any means. I think it was, a year or two after VR even started becoming a thing. But yeah, it's not like Melee especially kind of just swings through everything. You can't really like pick up items and move them around or anything. You're just putting them in your inventory like you would, which is weird.
It's pretty lame. Like,
it's,
I don't know.
yeah, it is. I mean, it is like, it's still cool to be in that world in a different style, but it isn't really a VR game. Like the trappings are, this computer stuff is kind of neat, but it's again, you're not at the computer, so that's weird. And then like, it's strange considering that in every Fallout game you've been able to move basically every item anywhere you want. So
Yeah.
now not being able to while having the use of your hands is really weird. Like, it's like, you would think it's a no-brainer, like, oh, just implement that because this is what your games have always had anyway, but you don't. So yeah, it's a little disjointed. I'll say the weapons also, like, there's just a button to reload, so you're not really interacting with the weapon all that much either, which is fine. Like, I don't necessarily need that. But it is just another layer of like non-VR VR stuff. But yeah, the melee weapons especially, like they just kind of go through everything. Like there's not any hit detection like against a wall or something like that. Like they're good about being able to hit creatures with them or whatever. And then same thing, like when you get like a two-handed weapon, like when you get the Gatling gun later on, you're still just holding it with one hand and it's just kind of in front of you, which is like a bit weird also.
There's no weight there. Like, you don't feel like there's any kind
no,
of...
no. It's like it's just it seems like you're holding up a gun balloon. Effective like a balloon animal that's a Gatling gun, basically, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then and so that's like a little irritating. And in addition to, like, even though it's been a while, I have played this game already too, so a lot of the like story stuff I'm kind of just like wanting to hurry up so I can either do something I didn't do in the base game or just kind of get to moving around a bit more.
Yeah.
Do
you think that they ever explore like making a ground up VR experience in like a Fallout or Skyrim?
Do you think they ever explore making a ground up game?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No. My answer to that is no.
Because a lot of these complaints that you have are the same complaints that I had about Skyrim VR on the PlayStation.
Oh, it's the same thing. They just did the same thing to both those games. Yeah. I think Skyrim is probably better because it's a more like, you have magic, and then like the bow is there, and then you have like a sword and shield. So it's like I almost wish I would have got that instead, as much as I'm a huge Fallout fan and don't care as much for Skyrim. But I think as a VR experience, that's probably better, just by virtue of the setting and everything. Yeah, because this is it's really tacked on. It feels like a mod, maybe more than anything, which is like kind of disappointing. I want to play more of it. Also, too, the Pip-Boy is really weird because when you pull up your wrist, it like enlarges, but it doesn't like pause the game like it would in base game, and then you still have to go through the menus with just the joystick and stuff. So it's like kind of like a harder to see and navigate Pip-Boy, I guess. Because when you turn your wrist like that too, the controller's like going up is now left or right on the thing. So like it's sort of in line with how you would hold it's just it takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
I need to look and see what like some of the mods are, maybe, and that maybe improves it vastly, because I've heard that with the Skyrim one too, is like a lot of the mod stuff makes it a really interesting game. Because it seems like most of the mods that work in the regular game work in this game, which also makes it seem like all they really kind of did was adjust the player character, maybe, and nothing else. Yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing, and yeah, like I said, I don't think they're gonna do much of anything with this stuff, because I mean, with their own games, they sort of just bought other studios to make more interesting games, so they didn't have to.
Yeah, that's true.
And now that they're owned by Microsoft, I feel like they have even less of a reason to do VR, because Xbox doesn't have any kind of VR set up yet, so or any plans for it, as I can tell. So I don't know.
We'll see. I that's the impression I got from Fallout VR, is the same impressions I got from Skyrim VR. My biggest thing is like, if you just waggle the melee weapon into somebody enough, it does damage, and it like makes it trivial in some ways.
Yeah, and that's honestly, that's kind of the issue with a lot of VR games that I've found, with the exception of the two that I put on this list that I've played recently, because they do really good with the weight of weapons. It really yeah, we can jump into those because I have more to say about both of them, I guess, that would lean into the same thing. Yeah, this game is surprising. Like I'd heard it reviewed really well, but this is Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, which a lot of people probably already played, but it also did just come to the Quest recently. Like it was a Rift game, and then on the Steam store. Yeah, it's like, I'm surprised, because I don't care about Walking Dead at all, and I probably even care even less about zombie games as a whole, especially at this point. But it is like, it's like a 20-some hour RPG, which I would have not thought on the outset. If you look, the thing you just looked like at a chest is like your overall item stuff. So basically, you're like going out onto the map, finding random stuff, putting it in your backpack, bringing it back, recycling it, and then you're crafting stuff out of that, which I would have not thought was a part of this game. But that's a big proponent. Is like that's like kind of your overall progression is your crafting thing, because there's 3 crafting stations, and I think they each have like about 30 or so ish patterns each. And it'll be stuff like, you know, you can craft a gun at any time, and then it'll be like, then you can craft bullets and all this other stuff. You can only do it, as far as I can tell, at this station, and then you can take it out in the world, because you're also on this other side of this bus. You have a rack of weapons, so you can, because everything breaks, so you can set it there and kind of take out what you want for your thing, because you can only realistically carry 1 large weapon, 2 small weapons, and then you can put some of the smaller ones in your bag if you want to carry more with you as you go out. And you also have like a food indicator, which sort of just affects like stamina, and then you have a health indicator there. I would say skip. This is like kind of the early stages, but yeah, actually, there's all the crafting stuff if he turns around. But all of those post-it notes on there are gonna all be like I said, your progression stuff. And then yeah. So yeah, if you skip a little bit, I'm hoping that he'll show some combat, but he's got to load out all this and stuff, so it might be a minute. Yeah, maybe here. I guess this is like the part of the second stage. I was really hoping okay, yeah, maybe there. Might just show him the first town area. Yeah, so it's so it plays a lot with physics, like really well. Like you can open gates and stuff with your hand, but you can also just like move your hand where the gate would be, and it'll open it up that way, you know, like you don't have to like physically grab the handle and stuff. You can just kind of push things out of the way. When you get like close to a surface, you'll kind of put your hand on it and you can kind of move around in that fashion. It's also a stealth game if you want it to be, so you can kind of you could crouch manually, or there's a button that you can just hit to crouch, and then you can kind of walk around in that fashion. I don't know how this affects the story, but you can, from what I can tell, kill anybody. Like I've killed a lot of like people that seem like NPCs that have like talked to me about something. I've just shot them. Like actually, even during the tutorial, when the guy's like, "All right, you're ready to go," I shot that guy, and then another guy came out of the warehouse and came back around and said the same dialogue, but it was a different dude, and then I shot him, and it's just a chain of dudes coming back in and being like, "All right, tutorial's done," and then you just kill it, like just because that's the thing about VR, is just like seeing if you can do shit. So I was like, well, I might as well try this guy, and so that happened.
That's cool.
Yeah. The other neat thing too is like with one-handed weapons, right? There's a button to flip it either way, so you could do it as like if you're gonna stab, or you could do it as if you're gonna like jab. I guess stab or jab, I guess would be the way to say that. Yeah, like this. So I would say that's a stab. He could flip it around the other way if he wanted to. But what I've found is like, so you'll sort of put it in. If you don't do enough force, it'll get stuck, and you have to like drive it in to like hit their brain, more or less. What I have done though has been the most easiest way to get through these things is like when they're running at you, you can just like grab their head with one of your hands and then just like jab a knife in and then pull it out and kind of just like throw the thing down. But your weapon will stick in their head too, so you have to sort of like pull it out with a certain amount of force, which when you get that whole motion down, like stabbing it with the right force and then pulling it out with the right force, it like really feels good. Like it feels really good. Like there's a good weight to everything that you're doing. And same with the two-handed weapons too, like really like landing an axe in somebody's head and then pulling it out right. And then there's like katanas and other stuff that you find later is like super satisfying. I haven't found it to be super difficult just yet. I've only put maybe like 2-ish hours into it. 2.5 maybe. So it hasn't really gotten like super extreme yet. I did die in the first stage because there's like a timer on your watch that will give you a certain, the bells will chime. Excuse me. the bells will chime, and then it becomes like later at night, and then more of them come out and shit like that. I did get overwhelmed at one point. It was kind of hectic to try and like reload a gun because I had like all my other weapons had broken. You can do cool stuff with the bottles too, because you can kind of break them on any surface and then jab them into a thing, or you can like break one over their head and then give them one. You can kind of throw the other zombies at each other, and then kind of jab with it as well. And the story stuff's been pretty interesting so far. It's really good. I mean, it's really good. Like it's really well put together. I was way more impressed than I thought I would be. For what is there. I kind of assumed like, oh yeah, that's another thing too. Like if you're like there was one section where I was crouched under a house, but to get it through the floorboards, I had to like put my hands up and then actually like pull to mimic, climbing up out of a hole, which was kind of neat. I'm interested to see if they like expand on that more, because I did climb a house too, like on the scaffolding, and did some of that business. I'm interested to see if there's more kind of stuff like that, and it's not like there's eerie moments, but I wouldn't say it's like scary by any means. Like this part in the catacomb was like kind of uneasy, but it still wasn't like, it was that implied idea of like, oh shit, something's gonna jump out, but it never did. So I don't know if that's like by design or what. But yeah, it's cool. It's like I said, it's a much bigger game than I assumed it was going to be. So I'm interested to do some more of that. That's what I've primarily been playing, because it's felt like a game, and that's been.
Did you buy it on Oculus proper, or did you buy it on Steam?
I did. Yeah, I did. Just by virtue of it was actually cheaper for that edition on Oculus than it was even through the Humble Store with a discount. It was like $10 less, even though because there's a tourist edition, I guess, which is what they just updated the game to for these platforms, which has it's called like the meat grinder or something. It's like an endless wave point system shooter thing that seems kind of cool. I haven't messed with it at all. I think I'm going to try to work through the whole game before I actually start any of that business. Hopefully by that point too, the link will be updated so that you can utilize that, because there is the Rift store version is like a 32 gig thing, and then the headset version is like 7 or 12 gigs or something like that. So the Quest version has like a lower resolution and textures and stuff like that. The Rift one looks quite a bit better.
Yeah.
But I've noticed a lot of that. That's what I was texting you about. Is like a lot of the games, if you get them on either store, will give you both versions of that. I'm curious to know though, going forward, what that looks like, since the Rift doesn't really exist anymore and Quest is the only thing. I'm wondering if we're gonna start getting less quality stuff, or if they'll put like, I don't know, like what would be the Steam version on the Oculus store, and then let you go through there, or what the story is with that. Because I would like because again, you get the higher refresh and fidelity of the screen. They should utilize it outside of just having to be able to play it, unattached to a computer. I don't know how. I guess I just don't know how well we're gonna get serviced is maybe the thing. So I'm just curious.
Yeah. We'll see, man.
Yeah.
You also texted me about this game we're about to look at.
Yeah, this game is dope.
I knew you would fall into the roguelite.
Well, I've only really found VR. 3. There was one I played through SideQuest. I loaded it in, which is like kind of a Minecraft-looking dungeon crawler roguelike thing that's like kind of a more proper roguelike. But that game was actually really fun, and that one's free through SideQuest. I can't remember the name of it though. This game though is a fucking workout, man. It's so effectively what's happening. I actually watched this video too. This guy is what is it, Raider Reed? This dude's really good at this game, because this game is can be pretty difficult. I made it on the easiest setting, I guess it is. I kind of started slow because I've been getting sore and then recovering. I basically played VR for a day and then had to recover the next day, then played and then recover, because it's been like I've been getting sore from just like moving a lot of ways I don't move normally. I generally don't sword fight most days, so that's been a part of it. But yeah, so what's happening here is like,
shit looks good,
it's
man.
it's
This looks
procedurally
fun.
generated. And what happens is, yeah, and this guy sells it. This is who sold it to me, basically. When I was watching him play it, I was like, damn, this looks fun as fuck, being good at this. But, yeah, so effectively what's happening is, like, you have free movement, but you also have this, like, teleport dash thing. So when you dash into somebody, you'll sort of stun them. But what happens is they have, like, an overall shield of some kind, and then they also have a health indicator as well. Once you break the shield, though, you'll give you those indicators of like how they want you to hit him, and that'll do like extra damage. So you have to cut a certain way, and then when those lines come up, you have to block obviously that, and then the arrows is like a full dodge, like you have to actually move out of the way physically. So it's a lot of mitigating like actual blocks and stuff. The difference here is he's only running with one weapon, but both hands have a weapon. So you can block with one hand and swipe with the other one and kind of do a bunch of stuff with that. Also, each weapon has a ultimate ability on them. So like the one he has on his left hand is going to do like a shockwave that does damage and pushes him back. I don't know quite what the right one does. On the one I have, it puts like an overshield on you so you can not block and it'll still not take any damage off. And then in proper roguelike fashion, whenever you finish a stage, there's a bonus that you can pick up that's like either increase your health by this, do more damage with this thing, do more block damage, do more impact damage when you stun them, etc., etc. And then you have an overall currency, I think it's called Aether, that you use to unlock weapons back at the hub before you do your run. So you sort of pick the weapons you want to take with you before you go. And I found one of the weapons was like an axe, but it has like a bit of a delay to it to insinuate its weight, which is kind of neat. And you can also rub both of your weapons together to like spark them and stuff. So it feels in the similar fashion to like how Beat Saber, like when you have those out, you do feel like you have lightsabers. This does feel like you have swords in front of you. And it just, it's great, man. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
And this is early access as well. So this isn't even a finished title either. I think it was 24. And then on the Humble store, I found it for 20, but I think that's the Steam version on there. The Oculus one is 24. But with that though, I think this is probably the game where I actually try out the headset without the link, like just going into the living room with just the headset and the controllers and playing this, because like I think 2 hours would kill me anyway. But doing this in the other room without any tether for an hour, man, that's good shit. Like it really does.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking cool. There's another one I haven't tried out though that's called like something of Gargantua, but that's a 3-person co-op roguelike game for the Oculus that I would like to play with other people and see how that goes. Because that seems kind of neat.
I want more multiplayer experiences because we had a.
That's where VR really comes together. I think it's fitness games and social games. Like everything else is whatever. But those two categories are where VR really, like, it becomes something unique. And I'm trying to think. There is one other, like, kind of game of note that I played.
I'll bring it up, I guess, while you're
Yeah, go ahead.
I played some Trover Saves the Universe.
Yeah.
I bought this game. Dude, honestly, I think I love this game. I'll just be 100% real with you. I like Justin Roiland. So, like, you have to like that humor to like this game. Like, I'm not going to tell you, oh, just look past, because the gameplay is shallow as fuck. Like, so if you can't look past the humor of it, like, probably not for you. And I say shallow as fuck, but it actually controls very well. The combat, like, feels pretty good. But it's really just like a kind of one hit like thing, or like one button combat kind of thing. You eventually do get like the ability to move objects with your like headset. Like you can look at something and like select it and move it around with your head, so you can like assist Trover in combat with doing like attacks with like physical objects, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
I guess I'll skip just a little ahead to this area. So the way it works is that like you're tethered to a chair. You're a chair Orpian. So like
Okay.
like
Yeah.
your race of people are like destined to like live in chairs the rest of their life. And I forget what type of person Trover is, but they essentially like have holes in their head, and they use like these little babies in their head to like give them powers and stuff.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fucking
Yeah. Of
it's fucking
course.
weird.
Everybody knows that. I mean, you're not telling me anything I don't already know.
I actually like this area of the game. Like this shit was really funny. Because this guy's name's Mr. Pop Up, and he just keeps coming in front of you, like trying to get you to
Oh,
like
just to
do
tell you to
shit for him.
shit.
He's like a fucking asshole. And then like at the end of it, like you have to make a choice whether or not you kill this guy or kill a guy that he wants you to kill. And they're both kind of pieces of shit. So,
Right.
like, dude,
Hard, those hard moral choices where you're like, I
yeah.
don't know who's the worst of the two evils here. Yeah.
So I'll skip a little bit ahead, because what essentially it is like you're following Trover. You go to these little like glowing spots, and that's where you can like teleport to, and you can see he's still not shutting the fuck up, and
Yeah.
it's finally gone. So yeah, you look around, you find the little power babies. When you look at them, a little green dot appears on your reticle, and you can like suck them up, and like there's like 30 per level. And Trover keeps telling you as you get them, like, oh, if you keep getting all of them at the end of the game, something real cool is going to happen. Like a lot of fourth wall breaks and shit like that.
Yeah.
I think the story does carry the game, like the humor of it, the writing, the story. I think it's very charming. And like I know like Rick and Morty is like kind of graded on people for some reason. I still find that show amazing. But like I get that like it's the go-to, like I guess, to joke about edgy people on the internet for some reason.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it just
became
a bunch of people that like did mushrooms were like, this is the best show ever, and then those people are kind of already annoying already. That just like obsess over psychedelics. So then you're like,
you put it in the best way. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So yeah, so I understand why it became irritating, because I like it. Well, it was that, and then people found like, not that the Pickle Rip episode wasn't a good episode, but the reason it was a good episode wasn't Pickle Rick. Like the writing of that episode specifically was phenomenal, but the part that everyone grabbed on was him just saying he's a pickle, when it's like actually about like family, not interacting with each other, and then like the depression that comes with that, and like all the other stuff that's like makes that episode way better. And that's the other annoying thing too, is like, because that episode has that wrapped in it, they're like, I'm intelligent because I'm into this, and you're like, yeah, but the part it doesn't matter. That stuff's annoying. I understand, because it became really frustrating, because this was like, all it is it's another instance of something that's really good where the fans kind of ruin it. Yeah, and that happens a lot. I mean, it's and I get it, because they it's something they love for whatever reason, but it is another thing where the fans are way more annoying and make the thing lesser somehow, which is a pain in the ass.
If you don't care about any of that, you like Rick and Morty, I highly recommend playing this game. There is something about to happen which is pretty funny. So you just learn the ability to pop up, which means you can like raise and like lower yourself.
Oh, sure.
So you come across this like gate, and it's like having you do this pretty simple puzzle. And he's like, oh wait, there's more buttons above you, so you have to like go up and like do this button combo thing.
Right.
And so you do this one. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And then you do the last one. And essentially, like, you're just, like, slamming your head against it. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why can't I get this? And then Trover's like, oh, well, fuck this. Like, if you can't figure it out, let's just beat the gate down. And I don't know if you could do that the whole time. But I just couldn't figure out the fucking puzzle. So he's like, fuck this, man. Just beat the gate down. And you just, like, make him beat the gate or whatever. And
yeah.
I don't know, man. I liked it a lot. I'm going to keep playing it. It's very short, though. I bought it full price because I'm an idiot, I guess. I do recommend a sale on this one.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think when I see it cheaper, I'm going to grab it, because I would like to play through it, but I don't think I don't know if
Yeah.
if that's the price I would like to pay to do that.
It's the one VR game I've had like been wanting to play since it
Sure.
released, and I could have picked it up on PlayStation, but at the time I was like, damn, I think I'm done buying PSVR games because I will get like a true headset at some point.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But yeah,
I
I
feel
highly
that.
recommend that shit. I'm gonna keep playing it. Uh, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Really fucking funny game.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, I definitely want. I think the next one I want is until like I said, until they do that Link thing and then playing Alex becomes a real experience.
Yeah.
I want to play that Phantom Covert Ops game that Jeff Grossman talked about a lot, where you're like a stealth Sam Fisher in a kayak.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
wanna play that game. That seems cool. That one seems really rad. Pistol Whip Heartbreak I really want to play.
What was the
Uh,
game you were talking about that you played a little bit of?
I'm having trouble. Like I can't find it anywhere. I mean, I did play a little bit more Tilt Brush. I ended up actually sending that back though because it's not quite as robust as I was hoping it would be. I'm trying it. There's another art program called Gravity Sketch, but I haven't loaded into it yet. And it's I've heard some. It seems really neat. That's like more of a like a like a AutoCAD sort of designer thing, but it has like a way better sketching tool. But I've heard that their pricing model is a little egregious because it was like 30 baseline. I found it. They're having an Oculus or a Rift sale, I guess, at the moment on the Oculus store, so it was like 8 something. But then when I was looking more into it, people were saying like, oh yeah, well there's also the like pro version of a $30 game, which is annoying already because it's like,
Yeah.
well, why you're not disclosing that to begin with? But I don't know. I haven't been in to know what that is that I'm missing, I guess. It's just a little weird. And then there's like a yearly subscription to it as well, which is like a little strange also for a thing that, again, you paid $30 for. So yeah, that may go back to, I don't know. I haven't actually dipped into it yet. I just picked it up, I think, yesterday night because I saw it pop up. But the only really major
Yeah.
thing on that sale that's like, there's like Super Hot VR is $12.49, which if I would have known this was coming up, I would have got this one instead of the Steam version, just because I assume this one probably utilizes the Oculus a bit better. And then Zero Caliber VR is on sale, which is the other kind of big one. There's a good like 30 or 40 games, but a lot of them seem kind of like iffy. Like it. That's the thing is like that's the weird thing about this is like how it's a curated store, but some of these are like kind of like don't seem very good. So like I don't know
Yeah.
what their curation process is there.
Just pump it full of content. That's the
Yeah,
answer to everything.
it's really strange. Well, that's another big thing I guess to note that they've mentioned is that starting next year, SideQuest is going to be implemented into the Oculus Store. So it'll still be hosted on SideQuest's website, but you'll get to it. I think the main thing is so you don't have to make a developer account anymore, because I thought that was kind of weird anyway. So I guess you won't have to do all that, and you can just access some of these games. But I think it'll maybe curated from them in some way, but not as much as their base storefront is, where there'll be some kind
Yeah.
of separation. Which is a thing to mention. But yeah, I'm still in. I'm still into it. I just want to see some stuff. I guess Medal of Honor is coming up too. That's December. And then what? There's another big. Oh yeah, like I said, I guess what you call it? Ubisoft has some VR stuff coming down the lane, which it will be neat to see.
Yeah.
I still want to play Robo Recall just because it's like one of the best looking shooting galleries I've seen. I need to dip into some more. What is it? Not Horizon. Christ. That game that is in space. Elite Dangerous. I need to play
There you
more
go.
of that actually and give it the old college try again.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. The only thing that holds me back is like there's no like, and I get why they didn't do this because there's so many different controls in that game. But like, it would be cool to have the hand throttling like with the controllers and all that, and like punching the buttons.
Yeah,
because it seems like you have to play with either mouse, keyboard, the HOTAS stuff, or controller.
right. Which the controller stuff's not that bad. I've used it a little bit. It's not. It's like disjointed because you're looking at a ship, but yeah, I mean, it really becomes a HOTAS, I think, for that game more than anything else. There is though, one thing we should try, Echo VR, which is like it's like it's a free multiplayer game that's on the Oculus Store, but it's Lone Echo, if you remember that game. It's like an arena version of that, which is like, I've heard it's like one of the better, competitive multiplayer games on the in VR at all, I guess, because it's like you're in space, so you sort of, the locomotion is like you have kind of jets tied to your hands, so you can sort of bounce off of walls and stuff if you want, but then you can also kind of boost yourself with your.
I heard of this. This game.
It seems neat. I haven't loaded it up yet. I might do that actually tonight for a little bit because I have it installed. But that, and then this game Half, which is another, like really kind of weird multiplayer thing. But it's I don't know. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, but it's really strange. It's like it's kind of like if the way I understand it, because I haven't played it at all, but it's sort of like if Journey was a multiplayer focused game. Like, it's sort of, you're getting thrown into these like weird scenarios, like, oh, this time it's hide and seek, so just hide in some weird and the art design is kind of similar too. I don't know, like I said, I haven't really played it, so I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but it is another free multiplayer game that has reviewed well and seems neat, so maybe I'll jump into that too. I don't know.
Shoot me some links on that stuff, because I'm down to try some of those more multiplayer-focused experiences. Because like you said, I think that's where all that stuff really shines.
Yeah, I think it's just where it all comes together, it seems like, with this stuff. So yeah, I think that's it for games. I guess I mentioned Second Extinction last week, and I guess I will just say quickly, I played more of it. I actually put a review up, so if you want to pull that one up, you can, so we're not utilizing anything. Also, last week's episode didn't get claimed, so
I know. What's the deal with that?
I don't know. It's even the one that I called them out to say you should claim this one, and it didn't happen, so I don't know. They're fucking with me. I played some more of this. I think the foundation of this game is really good. I think it just needs, like, these 6 missions here are the only 6 missions that are currently in the game. And then it's on a certain campaign, which I imagine they're going to add different campaigns, which I hope adds different maps to the game. The other thing is, like, your progression is all tied to the weapons. Like, you upgrade different parts of each weapon up to a certain point. There's only, like, I think 9 or something points you can put into them. And so you don't, like, upgrade your abilities, and there's, like, some jankiness there. There's, like, some jankiness all around, I guess, because, it is early access, and it's from the team that did Generation Zero, which I played a good 40-some hours of that game, and there's some jank throughout that whole experience as well. But I think fundamentally they have a better foundation to start from here than they did with that game, because I think that came out and then needed fixing, whereas this one is like, hey, we're starting it needing fixing, so you guys know ahead of time. Yeah. But they added a bunch of shit to that game way longer than they needed to, so my hope is that they do that to this game, which, I mean, it's been received pretty well overall. I think just the dinosaurs need a little bit more variety. I think you need to find, like, more items and stuff out in the world to kind of take back with you or use, because it's sort of all, like, components that you use to only really upgrade the weapon, and that's, like, at a point you could do that for all of them pretty quickly, I would think. And then, because I've already, like, fully upgraded the minigun to the point I can upgrade it to, and I'm only at level, like, 10 or whatever. I've also not found a reason to use any gun other than the minigun because it seems to shred the countless amounts of enemies that you find. Uh, I think too, though, like the only other big criticism I have is like all the dinosaurs kind of like either just like kind of jump at you or run at you. There's not like a whole lot of variety in that. Like there's like spitters for sure that will shoot stuff, and then there's like an electric dinosaur that if it jumps and hits you, you'll get stunned for a second. But there's like probably 10 or 11 dinosaur types, but like I said, they all kind of run at you or jump at you. So it's like sort of, like, I don't know. It needs some variety there. I think the biggest thing is like the character abilities. Like, there's one of the characters has a thing that just shows you, with like a red outline, all of the enemies that are near you. Which is not what this is. That's a dinosaur buffing the other ones. But it doesn't do any extra damage or anything. It just highlights them, which I think is only helpful because they're kind of hard to see already. And I don't know if that's like by design or just like the art direction or whatever, but they just seem like they kind of blend into the environment more than they need to, especially because you're going to be fighting them all the time anyway. It's like kind of weird. And I think the other big caveat I see people complain about is that some of the upgrades require specific parts from certain dinosaur types, but there's not like spawns for them. They all just kind of randomly appear everywhere. So I've seen people have struggled to get things they need because they don't know where anything's going to show up. And then different zones like change in threat level or something like that, but I don't quite know how that happens either. Maybe by killing the T-Rex in that area it goes down or something. And the T-Rex too, like it has like a glowing weak spot kind of, and then so once you fought the T-Rex the first time, it's like pretty trivial the other time. So like it was really kind of neat the first time it happened because you kind of didn't know what was going on, and then the next like 3 I killed, I was like, okay. I will say to its credit though, it needs more stuff like this. Like there's a lot of like you can do the mission and technically just stay on the map as long as you want. You can just keep running around and doing objectives that you find. Like you'll find like a crew that's lost or like T-Rex eggs that need extraction or some other stuff. Like there's a bunch of these like mini objective things that just pop up, which I think is good, and they could do well with adding more stuff like that in addition to the stuff they already have. But yeah, for like $20, I think it's a good game. I think it's got a lot of room to grow, and it performs pretty well. I did have the chunkiness there was the recording. It wasn't the actual gameplay itself, so it's ran mostly pretty well. But yeah, that's my 6 minutes on that game.
Yeah, right. It kind of. I wonder if it scratches that same. Did you ever play Deep Rock Galactic?
Yeah, I would like to play more of that game with people because I love that game, but no one plays it.
It's a good game.
That I know.
I should hook you up with my buddy Jacob. He loves that game. I like it to an extent.
I like Deep Rock a lot.
I
like Deep Rock a lot more than this. I think mainly by virtue of like the vibe of that game is more interesting, and I think the skills in the dwarves are utilized better than the stuff here. Because like I've ran through, you can technically play this game solo. Like it's a little more obnoxious because there's no scaling, so you're gonna get like 500 dinosaurs at you, which is why again I found the minigun to be like just amazing because you can just mow through everything. But yeah, it's like I've never seen anybody play the sniper guy in this game, which I don't even know why you would, because it's always 600 dinosaurs, so what the hell. There's also, it's only groups of 3, so even at best you may have one guy that gets to stand back, but I don't know that that's going to do a lot. And then like her ability is like a electric fence, but it's kind of weird to place. Like sometimes it'll place it exactly where you just said. Sometimes it'll place, but then it'll sort of place where your hand physically is. So it'll like just kind of lay, I don't know, it's weird. It's really odd. And there's like no distance or whatever, but then it just sort of like goes on and off when it actually stuns them or whatever. And like I said, the other guy just shows you where the dinosaurs are, but if you have eyes, that doesn't do anything. And then I don't even know what the other person's. Oh, hers is just a quick dash out of the way, so it doesn't even help the group at all. It just does that, which everyone kind of has one anyway. So it's like there needs to be a good bit of tweaking and or even just letting all the characters pick whichever one of those things they want to do, rather than tying each one to a specific character. Because the only other difference I think is health. Like that's the other thing is everyone can play that same character, and she has the most health also. So she has the most health and the minigun, and I don't see a reason to play anybody else. Like she's the most viable. So yeah, and then in Deep Rock,
sure
it's
they'll
like
straighten that stuff out over time.
I would think so. Yeah, like I said, the potential is definitely there. Like there's a good foundation. I think they can do a lot with it. We'll just see if they do or not. I have faith in the studio, I guess I'll say, but we'll see.
Yeah. Games, dude.
Yeah.
Games are a good fucking time. Who would have known?
Well, we'll see after this weekend. Maybe we'll never play video games again. It's hard to say.
I mean,
after 4 days of video games, what do you do?
Just start fist fighting each other to the death, I guess. Like,
well, that's a given.
Games turn you primal. And they turn you violent.
Yeah. Well, that's what the government said. That's what the news said.
Speaking of
government,
games turning you primal and violent.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 3. Honestly, that's the only game on this list I really found worth a shit talking about.
What? Scroll down because I haven't seen the other ones. Let me see what they are.
You don't want to talk about Lego Marvel Superheroes?
I mean, some of those Lego Marvel games. That's about the most interesting Marvel properties have ever been to me, other than that Spider-Man game. The Lego games are pretty good.
You were also talking to me about Disgaea not too long ago, right?
I do. Actually, I've been playing Disgaea 5 on the Switch a little bit. But I got so sucked into VR I feel bad about even getting an Animal Crossing the Switch because I was like, I haven't touched it since. I mean, I will once Hyrule hits, obviously.
Yeah.
But
the same day as Cyberpunk.
Well, the day after, but yeah, basically. Fatal Frame's all right. I don't know about that specific one.
Yeah.
And then Room Factor is a pretty good series.
Android
came out. What? Yeah, what is that? Oh, that's straight up Android. That's a pretty big deal.
That's a pretty big deal in gaming, I guess.
I mean, hey, if you look at it, the Oculus, that runs Android.
Yeah.
Both of our VR headsets are running fucking Android. So, I mean, your phone is probably running it. So, it's pretty important. Not the most exciting thing, but kind of.
Yeah. The gaming platform. Android.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Marvel vs. Capcom Saturn release? That's cool, I guess.
Before we completely brush off the Android, I would be remiss if we didn't spend at least 2 episodes where we lightly mentioned the Ouya and its legacy.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's the console of the future, dude.
If we could take
my Ouya.
A brief moment for our fallen comrade, the Ouya. You left us too soon.
Dude.
Thank you.
Dude, we should pick one of those things up and deep dive into the storefront that got shut down.
It's kind of hard because I think movers use them now to put under furniture so they kind of slide across carpet easier. So it's like sort of, I don't know if you'll be able to find them or take them out of their hands, but yeah, we could try.
Holy shit. What a bad time. I don't think we'll see the Ouya on this list until maybe we do eventually.
Oh, I don't know. It depends if it lines up with our either Wednesday or Thursday record night. It's hard to say. It may never happen. Actually, you know what? For the sake, I would love the surprise, but I'm curious to know when it happened and what day it was.
The event.
Oh, no. I only found Ouija, the movie. I can't remember how exactly to spell Ouya. How was it?
It's O.
I thought it had a J.
It came out June 25th, 2013.
Okay, and that was let me see, June 25th, 2013. Oh, 25th, 2013 was a what day?
June 25th
Tuesday.
was a Tuesday.
That was a Tuesday. Dude, I think the thing about the Ouya, look how bad that controller just looks. Like, you look at that and you go, I know I don't want to play with that fucking pre-Mad Catz second player controller right there. Like, it's not...
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Bad time.
Every console needs a player 1 controller, and this one only had player 2 and more. Like, it wasn't... They never had a thing that made you look like I wanted to touch that thing. And also, didn't the front of it open to put batteries in too, which was weird? Like, you had to slide off where all the joysticks or some shit was. $30. Fuck you, GameStop.
The two silver sides slid down, and you would pop batteries. And yeah, $30 for this piece of shit. They should pay me $30 to take.
Do they still have them new? Oh, out of stock. Okay, I see. Damn.
That's a bad time,
dude.
That's a bad time.
That's a bad thing. And you you left us too soon, dog.
Holy shit. Well, I hope you pour one out for your fallen comrades this weekend. Thank you for joining us. You can follow me at the Deadly Robot virtually anywhere. Kelly and I will be hanging out at a LAN. In fact, Justin just messaged me while we were doing this asking when I'd be there. I had to break the bad news that it won't be till Friday.
That you don't give a shit about French.
Fucking I don't, dude. Corporate slave. I can't handle myself.
No, I get it.
I guess totally paycheck. I guess I just like paychecks. Like there's something about them. There's something about a nice paycheck, you know.
I pay out my bills doing sloppy top down the street. You know what I mean? With my little rogue flap wagons. You know what I'm saying, dog?
We're all into different lifestyles. We're inclusive here on this show. We don't care.
Yeah. I put all my stuff on Mostly Patrons or whatever that website was. I put my feet up there, dude. And let me see it.
Mostly Patrons. Oh shit, that's the website.
I feel like they should just change it to Only Perverts, because like that's really all that's happening there. Like, I mean, again, not discouraging anybody from utilizing it or using it, but let's be honest.
I'll discourage you from using it. Get outside, meet people.
Yeah,
unless you just can't, unless you open your mouth and just like you can't get the internet out of your mouth for 5 seconds.
Have you've met those people though?
Oh no, I've met those people. I know those people.
Well, we've both been to QuakeCon. I'm just saying, like there is like it's kind of alarming. You almost don't know. It's that same thing where it's like when a fan ruins a thing, almost it's like that same thing where it's like you like the same thing I do, but I cannot talk to you about it. Like it's really like it's super strange. Like it's a really just like jarring feeling to be like, wow, we like the same shit and we can't speak about it at all. It's uncomfortable to even try and mention it to you.
I guess I'll reframe it. I'll reframe it. Use your best judgment. If you feel like you can't interact with people, don't do it. And spend money on OnlyFans. I mean, whatever. Just don't do it. Nobody wants to hear that shit.
Stop that. Get some help.
Get some help.
McDonald's has a ribwich back. McDonald's says, McDonald's own Michael Jordan says, stop that. Get some help.
Stop that. I was in Space Jam.
Hey, cut that out. Spend your life watching Space Jam. Okay? And then
DVD.
maybe did this sequel to Space Jam ever come out or no? Because wasn't it supposed to be it was supposed to be like LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what the fuck? I forgot about that. Man. We also have to find
eventually.
We have to find some terrible movies to watch at the LAN. You missed the last one where we played Cats, but Justin was furious, so we can never play Cats again as much as we wanted to watch 2019's Cats.
We'll come up with something.
Well, Fast and Furious 3, obviously, that's a given. It's the only movie that can be played at the LAN, and then that sort of breaks the seal for Santa Claus 3 and then other triplets. But
Dude, Tiptoes. Yeah. We haven't done it yet.
I've tried, dude. I've tried. They will not watch it as good as it is. I don't know what.
I'll back
They're
you
broken.
up. We'll force them. We'll
Tiptoe's really good. I kind of want to watch Kindergarten Cop 2 with Dolph Lundgren because I know that's pretty rough.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know. Like I said, you can't watch first parties almost though, which is why I mean Tiptoes, if you really think about it, is sort of a sequel to the struggle of dwarfism in America, sort of represented by Matthew McConaughey and Gary Oldman. But I guess Kate Beckinsale throws her 2 cents in there too. But
we can't let those people forget what they did.
Yeah, Claymore Video. You're right. Fuck you guys. Okay. I can't remember what studio it was, but forget about you, dude. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can, if you're here, you've found me. There's a few reviews that are coming up. I put my first one up in 3 weeks yesterday, guys, so you know I'm on it. I'm trying to figure out how to get this VR to be captured, so we'll hopefully have some of that in the near future. Also we played Phasmophobia. We didn't talk about that at all. I don't mean for that reason. I guess it's a big enough game now that you don't really need to speak about it because everyone's kind of already talking about it.
It's like talking about Among Us or Fortnite.
At
this point.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it next week. I do want to try to get over my horrible anxiety to actually play that game.
What is it about? Because I find not to, again, we don't have to get too deep into this, but I found Resident Evil 7 way more upsetting than this game. That's why I'm curious as to why this specifically gets you, whereas the other ones you were like, you know what I mean, more able to drive it without, you know what I'm saying?
It's just anxiety. That's all it is. It's just pretty bad, like not being able to like the unpredictability of it. I can't do the jump scares. Like when I hear like a noise I'm not anticipating, like the loud like screams that can happen in that game, or like the loud breaths in your ears, like all it boils down to is just really fucking bad anxiety. Like that's really it. You
should really play House of 1,000 Jump Scares, because it's like the things that it makes you jump at are so silly that it may help with like proper ones. You know what I mean? I know it sounds weird, but it'll be like you'll get a sound and then a thing will pop up and you're like, oh shit, and it's like a cutout cartoon spider that just flings out of the wall and you're like, you son of a bitch. Like it's one of those things where it kind of like trivializes other jump scares. I wonder if that would actually help at all, because it is like they're so ridiculous that you're like, this dumb shit. But I don't know. I wonder. Well, anyway,
we'll talk more next week.
Yeah, we'll have good land discussions after this. We'll probably play a lot of stuff there. Talk about some movies that we've watched probably the whole time. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks again. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Later.
Goodbye. Don't jack off in VR.